And 3, 2, 1. Well, that's not what was supposed to happen. But
That's your introduction.
that's our introduction for today. Hi, I'm your host, Zahhak. And I am joined today by Keith.
The burper.
The burper.
The burper. That's like a villain. Oh no! Look at it's the burper.
The burp. That's you.
So is that his evil villain name?
Yes, from now on.
Apparently so.
Got it.
We have.
I will be.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm good. I'm just gonna be quiet.
We have Jen, which she was not able to join us on our previous little adventure.
Yeah,
Escapades.
She's our healer, which will be a summoner.
and before anybody gets any ideas, I called it long before the action trailer came out. So
And we have our resident anything, Hell.
I like to play Russian roulette. What can I say?
That he does. Probably a little too much. Okay, so today it's you guys can already see on your screen because I'm pretty sure you guys are not blind. We're doing a tier list for Shadowbringers raids, all 12 of them. And I guess we're gonna have to rate like Eternity twice because there are 2 separate encounters in there.
Makes sense.
they're very different encounters too, to be fair.
Son of a bitch.
Ooh, sounds like somebody got destroyed.
Oh, Keith is also playing Stellaris while we do this, so this may explain if you have comments ahead of time.
Don't you fucking dare.
That's one. Of
I
those.
ran to the Enigmatic Fortress, and it kind of wanted my biscuits, and I said no, biscuits denied.
Did it take your biscuits anyway?
It tried. It took a shot, but missed my ship, so kind of lucked out there.
So what are we starting with, Zahhak? Are we going to start with our favorite fight, or are we going to start with one in work?
No, we're gonna go in order.
In order? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So English. To start us off, we have here Resurrection, which probably some of you might not remember this fight very well, but I still do, because this is literally my first Savage anything. Literally.
I found it very surprising because usually they go easy fights to hard fights. Do tiers. We got smacked with some serious mechanics right off the bat in one, like the FOSS and all sorts of stuff. So it was a lot of fun watching people scramble. Don't lie.
Yeah, my favorite part of this whole fight was when it does like the spinny things that you have to bait, like the lasers that you have to bait, and destroy the meteors as well. That's all of that in that one phase.
Oh, and you had like the spiny orbs and stuff, and you had to bait the sprinklers, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, you have to bait them. Yeah, you have to bait them going away from the party. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I really liked. And there was another part in the fight that was that you had to bait the actual lasers that came out in a line. Everybody had to be alive or somebody else would die.
Yeah, there were 8 orbs and 8 lasers we went with.
Yeah.
Someone too. Not to mention there were also meteors dropping at the same time, lots of fire on the floor.
That is true, yeah. There were, how many sets of meteor? Like 5? 3?
I think the people who got to bait the meteors, because I always had to deal with like 5 or 6 drops before I came in for the laser, so.
Yeah, overall this was actually really good starting point to the fight. I mean to Savage. At least for me anyway. I'm gonna put it on A. I don't know if you guys agree with that one.
I never got to experience the Savage, so
We need to take him back in there and take him through these 4 fights in Savage. Just let him experience them.
That is true. Oh yeah, Keith apparently is very busy. He didn't put any 2 cents on the first one.
What? Sorry, I'm too busy rolling the galaxy with Iron Fist. What happened?
Did you pause it for a minute?
I just did. I have my robots taking over. What's up?
will
What
say
is your
though that-
opinion on the first fight on Resurrection for the raid tier?
Besides, Caesar inducing.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't with you still at that
Lots
point.
and lots and lots of blinding white lights.
Lots and lots of blinding white lights. I mean, sure, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, think
Oh
of it
no,
like
it was bad.
Was it?
I haven't had seizures ever in my life, but I swear that turn almost gave me one.
that's funny. I'm usually the one that's like more light sensitive.
Okay, well
than
let's
you
see.
are.
I'm a tank that wears glasses. And I'm being hit in the face with white stuff. So yeah.
But yeah,
Maybe that does change perspective.
Why
I
did
haven't
you have to
looked
put it on that specific order, though?
Overall, the fight was ridiculously easy in my opinion. Like it's just straight up. If you had common sense or you've been raiding since Coil, that term was just ridiculously easy.
I
Well,
don't think I'd qualify it as that much. I do think it was in what mechanics you figured out, but a lot of people coming into Shadowbringers had never raided before with us. There were a
That's
lot
why
of
I.
players, so-
That's why I said if you've raided since Coil. I
Oh,
made that
no, I
specification.
agree with that part.
I had never rated in this game, so yeah, I was.
Oh, you missed out. That was actually. It wasn't fun, but it wasn't bad.
I think I'd probably stick it more B rank. It was a really good first fight, but it was fairly predictable for people who are used to the fights. So it's kind of like a good middle of the road, I guess.
honestly,
I see.
of like the first 4, because like I only know the normal versions, it was my favorite normal one.
The first one?
I did like it in normal. I
Yeah,
agree with that.
I liked of the normal versions, because again, I don't have experience on the first 4 for Savage, so I'm unfortunately just like grain of salt in my sway on those.
Well, just me being a Wii, but if it wasn't for the simple fact that it had Force Your Way as a soundtrack, it would be a C. So I agree with a B rank.
Oh, well, I guess it's going down here.
It's definitely not no damn A tier.
Okay. Well,
I would know which fight he's going to rank on A tier on this, and I'm curious if I actually am right or not.
You really want to know?
well.
No. I'll wait. It's fine.
Let's wait.
Okay, alright.
All right, now we're going into the second fight, Descent or Voidwalker. That's what's the boss's name, right?
I'm just gonna go ahead and put this D rank.
Was it
B rank.
Voidwalker?
What?
Was it Voidwalker? That's
Void-
what the name of the boss?
Voidwalker. Yeah, it was the only RNG in that fight was whether it was what out partners in or in partners out. Like that was the only RNG to the thing.
I'm perfectly happy with no RNG in raid fights. That makes me.
That makes me tend to fall asleep.
I don't know, man. My experience in this fight was freaking awesome, dude. I would honestly put it on an A. Like all
And-
those time mechanics that you had to handle in the. Oh my God! There's a mechanic like in the middle of the fight that you have to do everything correctly, otherwise you would just,
I
fucked.
will give you. I'll give you that rebuttal. I will give you that one out of the kindness of my heart. But it was too. What's the word I'm looking here? It was too scripted.
Well, sure, but most fights are.
Yeah, you can't get away with having I mean, even like T and Alex are like really scripted. They have to be.
Put in perspective, it got to the point to where before Jen joined us, I was actually tanking while watching TV and
Okay,
not
the
paying
fact
attention to
that
my
you
raid
guys-
group.
The fact
Go
that
ahead.
you guys had problems clearing it until I joined, I really liked the fight. I found it challenging from a healing perspective, particularly when certain greedy DPS were getting stuck they shouldn't be getting. But
What are you talking about?
I liked that it had so much movement in it, but yet it was on such a small platform. It added a lot of challenge to spreading out for mechanics when you had to dodge so many different things between the ads and the tethers and the towers you had to soak and the knockbacks and things like that. I really liked it. It was a lot of things thrown at you on a very small space, and it made it very interesting.
Indeed.
Going from my baby normal experience, it's second on my personal.
It's second.
It's second of the first 4, because like I would put it below Resurrection kind of thing.
Mm.
But it would still be in like the same tier as Resurrection.
Okay, so I mean, going by Keith giving it a D, me giving it an A.
Yeah, but maybe stick it in B as well. Yeah.
What did you give it, Jen?
Me? I honestly, it's somewhere between an A and a B. I liked a lot of fights better, so for me to put it in A tier is a bit much. So I'm okay with it being a B.
Dang it. Okay. All right, we're moving on to.
I mean, at least we didn't drop it down to D.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely not a D. What the hell? All right, we're moving into the snake, double-headed snake. We got Leviathan.
Levy.
Leviathan for me, specifically, it was definitely something new. Because again, at this point, I had never raided in this game, so I had no idea what to expect. Normally, for what I was, for what I saw from Stormblood, is that the third fight is just a freaking huge wall. It's a hard fight. So I was coming into here like, holy shit, I made it into the part that actually separates the good raiders from the terrible ones, as far as I knew. And then that's the name of the mechanic? Tsunami 1 and Tsunami 2. Holy shit. Especially Tsunami 2. Oh my, fuck that mechanic. It wasn't that bad once you knew what the fuck you were doing, but you had two people with the stack. You had people that you had to cleanse off a debuff, otherwise you would just die. You had the people that had the tidal wave thing that would actually cleanse off the debuff. Who was it? A tank that had to?
It was very much everybody do everything right or we're all dead.
Yeah.
Kind of mechanic.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that mechanic because of that, because it required everybody to actually be on top of their game and do like the mechanics correctly, based on whatever strategy you were doing. But yeah, they will pretty much resolve the same way pretty much. So my personal opinion, and I will not budge on this one.
Which one are we talking about? Leviathan?
Leviathan. I put it.
First of all, no.
What would you put this at then? Jesus Christ!
You would put every stinking fight in here except like 2 in a D. You know.
No, that's a B, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
I fell off the edge a lot.
Okay.
Again, before anybody says anything, me rescuing him off the edge only happened once in the entire prog I was there for. Okay. So
I don't
it wasn't
remember
my
why
fault.
you tried to do something. Oh yeah, I was on the wrong side and you thought it would pull me across the hole or something.
Oh no, I knew it wouldn't pull you across. That was just
Oh,
the
you
excuse
suck.
I used. I mean, come on. I've been yanking you ledges since Star Wars. It's tradition at this point. I gotta do it when I can.
Please give warriors a chain I can throw and yank people to me. Revenge is a bitch.
Jesus.
Levy was the first fight that I progged in this tier because when I joined you guys, I literally watched a bed. We went in one shot one. So 3 was the first prog, and I loved it. I loved the challenge of it. I loved the arena and how much it changed, how dangerous it got. So I'm perfectly happy leaving it at a day. I loved that fight.
That's true, actually. I just remembered that in Eden's Gate. Well, I was already at that point. I was already in Titan, but I joined you guys I joined Keith in that other static at that point in Levy.
I wish I had been there for your first reactions to Zahhak. I really do, because you have the best reactions to new mechanics and new fights.
Oh, speaking of reactions, we're on number 4, aren't we?
Not yet.
Ah.
What about you, Kill? There's not a lot that gets added from normal to savage, other than like black smokers and
Like who?
stuff.
The final mechanic for the fight.
Black smokers.
Well, the tsunamis change, obviously. You get the extra mechanics added to it, and you get black smokers at the end where you're having to drop the puddle, cleanse the debuffs, and different stuff. For you, Keith, all you did during that fight was pop a cooldown and hope you survived because the healers were good. So,
No, that was literally safe home gang for that exact reason.
pretty much, yeah. It's pop a cooldown and hope I survive because the healers ain't looking right now.
Minus if, although I did like the one thing about Leviathan, I did like making the party shit themselves by having the laser just graze their arm hair, but not kill them.
You know, the funny part is, I'm so used to crap like that. I didn't even blink when you did that.
Your
It's
comment
fine.
was, "You better not leave the bubble." Okay.
Hey, I have trained you well. You stay in the bubbles, and I'm happy. It's fine.
Although Tan panicking was.
No, that was Bond. We didn't have Tan yet at that point.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did.
I wish we had.
Malcolm kept running out to the outfield. Malcolm, you don't need to run that far. Just scoot to the edge of the bubble. You'll be fine. But what about the? Don't worry, they'll be fine.
You two weren't dumb enough to try to play sandwich, thankfully.
I tried to convince him into it. He just laughed.
Well,
How
what about
low can you go?
What about you, Kel? What'd you think of this guy in normal?
Again, like, well, as you say, like, it's normal for me, so I liked it less than Resurrection and Descent, but based on what I saw for the actual, like, because I did watch someone frog through it, and the Savage one looked a lot better than normal, ironically, so I would agree at least with the A ranking, but going through only on normal would just have it be at C.
See, I'm not the only one.
Inundation in the sea, Leviathan deserves the sea. It's his
That is a horrible pun.
That's actually better than the one I pulled earlier. I can't even take credit for that one. I held it off another channel. Just posted that meme like an hour before Keith.
What meme? I wasn't paying attention to the meme channel.
Okay, now we're getting to the big guy, right? Do we want to wait for Tan? Is he actually going to come in?
Oh, yeah, it looks like he is. Okay, so let's wait for Tan before we go into Titan.
All I'm gonna say is Zahhak's turkey noise.
Don't
clip.
spoil stuff, man.
Too late.
Well, can I at least give my normal mode opinion?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
I hate this fight on normal.
Oh,
That is very
I
slow.
will-
agreed.
The normal on this fight and the normal on the next fight are the two most annoying in the sneaky tier.
No, this is like Titan Savages, or not Savage, Titan Normal, Eden, whatever. It is my least favorite of the normal raids of
Yeah, I can definitely see the normal mode of that fight being absolutely terrible because
Yeah, the go-kart phase in normal is just awful.
it just goes on and on and on.
There's no uptime, there's no casting. No, the normal phase, it and the next fight, the normals are awful.
honestly,
It's so much better in Savage.
the other big issue I have with it is the fact that, do you know how many times I've had to, like, when I just queue in as a tank, and then I get this raid, and then I'm the last man standing trying to take on Titan.
The last man, like as a tank or a DPS or what?
It's a tank.
Did you kill it?
There have been times where I just got annoyed and I was just like, random machinist, since I'm paladin, you get my clemencies and I'm going to keep you alive. And we're just going to make these people watch.
Just kill it right now.
Yeah, I would fully agree. I loved Titan and was so happy with the Savage version of it in comparison. We need to take you in there, Kale. You need to see the real version of that fight.
Oh,
It's
kid.
the greatest thing.
Okay,
from 4.
okay, fine. This will be shown in the video since you're being okay. Tan, welcome. How are you doing, Tan?
Hello. I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Doing good.
Brown
We're doing
noser.
good. You are late, but guess what? People who may or may not watch this, this is our floor tank.
Hello.
Well,
Soon to be main tank or off tank, whichever they argue about.
To be fair, won't he still be a floor tank? I mean,
True.
Oh yeah. Just
Very,
because I have
very
clemency
true.
doesn't mean that I'm gonna survive.
Oh no, I'm fully expecting you to eat it.
But I'm at least gonna take you with me.
You want to bet? I'll paint my damn self and let you die.
I mean, he could just shirk you.
Tan, as you can see on the little shared screen, Zahhak, we are doing Eden's tier raid list, like a tier list for today. What we think of each of the fights.
Oh, I'm useless for 1 through 4.
Well,
Yeah,
I've
Kale's
done
pretty much
them
the same way.
with Echo. I didn't prog them.
That doesn't make any difference if you've seen the Savage versions. You Savage versions, right?
The only one I haven't seen is 3.
well.
Oh, you missed a good one.
I know.
All right. So, since we are here now, let's move on to 4. ECS, and this is my reason why. Ty, just let me explain. This fight, progging it. It was extremely fun. When we actually ended up clearing it, the farm, while frustrating in Party Finder, it was still fun. Like it's just, oh my god, all the mechanics. Like, it was starting out in the first phase. By the way, the first phase of this fight is the hardest part, and you cannot change my mind on that. Like, the mechanics were very well executed. The whole brownie thing, that's actually the first time that I have seen that in the game. Like, even from the previous fights that I have seen people do, I have not seen something that has to do, like, stand in a very specific spot, and this mechanic will affect only that very specific spot that you are in, and nothing else. Like, the brownie
You
mechanics.
haven't had to deal with the floor reactions on the arena before. It's not something we've seen in this tier, and it only was, what, fight in Stormblood? So, yeah. I think the only one it was in Stormblood was, what, Halicarnassus?
Yeah.
In Stormblood? Yeah, so. It's not a mechanic that I see, but when they do, they have fun with it.
Also, the final phase of this fight, I'm sorry, healers, but the final phase of this fight is also very good, and the music changes too in the final phase.
No, does it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I never paid
the
attention.
second phase has the different music. You get to the phase of the song. So it can add a whole bunch more bass and guitar riffs and drums into it for the final phase.
Has I think is the original Titan song.
Yeah, it's woven through the whole fight, but you hear it the most in the very final phase.
What about you, Keith? Or Jen? Titan.
Keith, I'll let you take this one first.
Nope, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, did
he
he prog
only-
it though?
He did prog it. He only has one thing, and it will be in the video, Keith, so just don't worry about it.
I thought I'd
I'm
give the
busy
prog
cutting-
perspective before mine.
Well, progging for me, before actually,
Let me just bring that back. Okay, go on.
for me, progging it. Keep in mind, I've been raiding in games since Star Wars. Actually, since RuneScape, if that tells you anything. You know, I'm old. Thank you. I appreciate it. I learned too damn quickly. And, yeah, when I actually understand a mechanic thoroughly, and everybody else still doesn't comprehend, okay, it's this setup, do it this way, and we'll get past this. I tend to start, watching TV while raiding. The first tier for me, unfortunately, got to the point to where I literally watched American Dad Bob's Burgers while raiding, because I could literally just raid by the sounds of what was going on.
Doesn't that just mean that the raid is really well made?
No, it just means that I figured it out too damn quickly and got boring.
That doesn't tell your opinion of the fight, though. You still had to learn it. What did you think of it while you were learning it? We're not talking about other people's intelligence and...
Well, I never said anything about their intelligence.
No, I don't mean that. I just meant, like, some people just get stuff slower or faster than others. They learn differently. I meant more, what did you think of the fight itself? Did you like the mechanics? I'm not talking about your because of other people.
Not really. I'm still expecting them to throw a curveball at some point in this game.
Like what?
Like, it's usually okay if you have to stack with someone, it's always tank healers, 2 DPS. If you have to separate, it's usually a tank with a DPS or a healer with a DPS. It's usually like, you can usually, if it's not A, it's B, if it's not B, it's C kind of a thing.
Well, yeah, what else can
So,
you do?
throw a
There's only so
curveball.
many there's only so many combinations that work, though. That's the problem.
For me personally, it was the whole. What was that one mechanic called? It was the I think the problem I had with that fight mainly is really the whole fisting thing. Well, like he would like wind up his fist and punch the platform.
Oh, and break it?
Yeah, because there's no telling if it's. You can only tell if it's left or right. You can never tell if it was front or back. So that was the problem. Is it's literally as soon as he raises. Okay, we know it's the left side shattering first. Okay, well, break the gall on the left side first. Let's be on the safe side. Oh no, everyone get the back one first, and there goes the gall into the form we all like. Like those kind of mechanics. Like if you're gonna put something like that in the game, you gotta give like a tiny tell instead of it being like complete. Roll the dice and take a pick.
There was a tell.
No, because on my screen,
It was how far he pulled back. If he only
Yeah.
pulled it back to like shoulder level, it was gonna be.
It was front.
If he pulled it further back, like behind his head, it was the back one.
all right. For those of us that don't use big ass monitors, we didn't get to see that. Okay,
Well,
all we saw was
you're a melee
nipples.
and a tank. You're up front. So you're taking
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at his chest and his boobs, trying not to be slapped around by his
Yo,
special area.
his diaper.
So I can't really look up. Oh, hey, look at that fist. No, to me, it's blinding by the sun.
okay.
So, for those of us that were melee range, we didn't have that luxury to see it.
Call out city, baby.
that's what we did.
Oh, and if we're talking about farm, this is probably one of the best things that. This is the thing that Keith was just hammering home, like. So, yeah, this is the clip. Have fun.
There we go.
There's no sound.
Yellow north.
Orange south.
I have the sound.
That's all.
What the fuck, dude?
That's really.
That yellow's scary, man. I get it.
Yo,
Oh my god. Zahhak, what the fuck, dude?
That's the noise that I make.
yo, okay. So yeah, now you guys know. Okay, moving on.
I say that's an A, but I'm not going to argue with y'all's S. I say it's an A.
I 100% agree with the yes.
It's done an average, so I
What's
am
next?
gonna agree with the S ranking. It was one of my favorite fights in the tier. Still is. So I loved the fact that there was so much interaction with the arena itself. You weren't just interacting with big markers or specifics or spreads. You were having to interact with the boss, your friends, and the arena. And it made it a lot of fun. Even Healer Hell at the end was a big challenge, and I really enjoyed it. So it was probably one of the fights I put the most prog time into, just because I enjoyed the prog. I liked being able to learn the fight better because it helped us in our prog later on. So you'd pug at some pug learning parties, and go into static, and really be able to push the prog because you were able to understand what was coming. Better to heal here, better not to heal there, that kind of thing for me. So.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there real quick. It's not spoiling anything, but because I do got to go. I got work in the morning. It's going to be B, S, A, S. There we go.
In that order.
What?
Okay.
For the
In
next
that
one.
order. Yep. Let you all enjoy my two S picks.
You rated 6 as an S?
Yeah.
He loved that
fun.
fight. I knew which ones he was gonna have the best.
I
If I'm
love
going to say S, it's going to be 6, 8, and 10. And 11.
Dang.
8, 6, 8, 10, and 11, yes.
I
6,
I
8,
have
10, and 11.
umbrage with 6, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
You're a dragoon, of course you have umbrage with 6.
No,
I will-
it's not just that.
I will watch what I missed tomorrow. But yeah, I gotta get the kids to bed. I gotta go take a shower because I smell like BO. And yeah.
All right. No problem.
Take it easy, man.
Talk
Yep,
to you later. man.
Later, guys.
Thank you for joining. And all right, so
His opinion on Litany does not count.
all right. 10. E4.
E4. So I didn't prog it. I've only gotten in there to do tea farming for chest and weapons, and I loved learning that fight. Even with just Echo on, it was so satisfying to figure out what each mechanic did. And particularly, how was I going to get out of this? Because I know we had Echo on. I'm in 530 gear. Like, this thing's going to go quick. But still, that damage down really fucking sucks.
It
All
really
8 people
does.
getting damage down still makes that fight drag on forever. So,
Yeah,
I
and
loved
there's
it.
Some parts of it that if you don't do it right, you and all your
Yeah,
good,
like,
so,
we wiped a
yeah.
couple of times because we
Echo
had to
or
learn the
not.
mechanics, Echo or not. Yeah, we couldn't brute force some of them.
Mm-mm. Oh, there's no brute force in that fight, so you gotta do that again.
No, you gotta respect it.
Titan does the brute forcing.
Like that.
Yeah,
that,
we were...
that fight
particularly-
is just so freaking good. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're fine. The one specific one that was like, make it or break it, learn this, or you're not getting your chess piece, nerd, was where it's either you start at the corners and move in. I don't know, what are this, like the blue AoE eruptions
Yeah.
coming out. Yeah, that spread. The timing on that is so tight. It's very fun. I like D4 a lot.
I just imagine progging it with the freaking low eye level and all that shit.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare.
Almost everything
honestly,
will kill you.
My respect
that
for
point, it
people that
was
clear
like-
D4 on content is
Yeah,
drastically spiked.
it was a lot. And you know the final phase 10, doing that with no echo, with like half
That'd be a
pencil melded
nightmare.
crafted gear. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, I guess we didn't even get to the final phase. Like you'd kill them during maximum
Yeah,
nowadays, but so I never got to see the final phase, and I still think E4 is top tier.
E4,
top
like the length of that fight is like 14 minutes, 14 minutes. It is a long fight.
That's a long ass fight.
it's
Mhm.
a long fight, but for some
That-
reason, when you're actually fighting it and you're not wiping constantly to the same mechanic over and over and over, it doesn't feel like it's that long because it's such a high energy fight. And there's so much going on that you have to keep paying attention to. So,
I love
it was
that
a good fight.
everyone has a responsibility too.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it comes to like whether you get a square, a triangle, or whatever during go-kart or boxing gloves or whatever you wanted to call it, everyone had a equal amount of responsibility there.
Indeed. Alright, so now we are moving on into Fulmination? Fulmination.
I love this tier.
B.
Okay, so this stupid fight.
Were you tanking for this one, or were you still on Sam for this one?
I think he was
I was
Sam.
on Samurai.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on Samurai. So this stupid fight, it was rather enjoyable to, prog. I really did like the whole chain lightning thing that they brought, but there was really just two ways of doing it. When in reality, this just really the same thing. Just one has all 8 people, the other one has just 3 people on each side. Like, what the f? Okay. The Twister like mechanic, I forgot what it's called here, but the like Twister. that
Yeah.
You move towards the end of the cast, and it just leaves the thing there.
snapshots where you're at,
Yeah.
Oh, the one that did the damage down if you got caught by it. That
Yes.
or
one.
just
yes,
straight up
that
killed you.
Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
So that was actually pretty neat because I had never, again, first time raiding in 14. I had never had to handle a mechanic like that. So at first I was like, "What the fuck am I doing wrong?" Like, it's doing the thing. Like it finished casting, I move, I still get hit, and then they're like, "No, like you have to move like 80% through the cast." I was like, really? So I do it, completely missed the lightning coming down and hitting me, and I'm happy with it because I don't have any more damage downs. Or dead, because usually somebody's stacking with me for whatever fucking reason. Yeah. The other mechanic that I really like about this fight was Furious 14. You know the mechanic
With
that
spears.
the spears, yeah. Because there's the 7 spears that 7 people have to knock down, and then the tank has to. Did the tank have to invuln
Absorb the charge,
obligatory?
basically. Yeah,
They could
They had to
invuln?
pop cooldowns and click on the button. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did tank part of this because tanking it was also incredibly fun. Oh, the freaking bird!
The bird is fun. I
If you-
enjoyed.
Yeah,
off-tanking
like
this
off
fight.
tanking this fight, it is really freaking fun.
And it was one of the fights that the off tanks actually have a lot of responsibility in, and actually it's the first one I think in this tier that the off tanks had a lot of responsibility in.
Yeah,
and,
off tanks had something to do.
Yeah, you weren't just sitting there waiting to vote for other, like a lot of the fights are.
I found it funny that there was no tank swap.
That's true. That's the only thing that it needed was a tank swap.
A lot of people did do a tank swap just between the 14 if they wanted to do invul. They didn't have a warrior, so you couldn't home gang both. But there was no forced one. No.
Yeah. This so yeah, I already gave it a rating. I'm putting this as an A. But I had a lot of fun with this fight. Even on Party Finder, it wasn't that complicated. The only problem was really chain lightning because people apparently don't know how to do chain lightning ever.
Also, True North memes.
True North. Oh god, True North.
Boss relative of True North. Oh, this is a True North party? What the fuck are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got that a few times.
Yep.
What cracked me up is you'd go into a True North party and it would end up being boss relative because no one understood what North was.
Mm-hmm.
People. All right.
What about you, Kale?
Kale.
Like I said immediately upon this thing, I think it's B. While I do like Fulmination a lot, there's just other raids that I would put an A above it, basically. And I think it's just like a very solid like top of B for me. But it was still like, because this was my first Savage raid.
No, you.
And it was a lot of fun. But I also had to do this with only pugs. I did not have a static to do 5 or 6 or 7.
So, what was your pug experience?
Chain lightning sucked because pugs. But honestly, like, this fight wasn't too bad.
It really wasn't. It was fun. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I especially liked when the one time that I got to off tank it though. It was like, because it was also the first time I had tanked a savage, and it was a lot of fun.
It really was. As an off tank, oh my god. Okay. What would you rate it?
B.
You would rate it B? Okay.
Yeah, like I would put it at the top of B, kind of.
Oh, like a B plus if they're
Yeah.
okay. Not quite A, not quite B, but yeah, up there.
Yeah.
I think for me, especially from a healer or caster perspective, and summoner quite a bit in this particular fight, I'd give it a solid top level. It was a very solid introduction to the tier. I really enjoyed it, particularly after finding shots during a lightning storm, so I didn't have to run around like an idiot. But that's one of the differences between normal and savage in this fight is lightning storm is awful in normal, but it made so much sense and was really enjoyable in savage. But I liked it wasn't really a challenge to heal, but there were parts that you had to make sure people were topped off on, keep an eye on the off tanks, more than once. Not gonna, lie, we forgot that the off tank we had the bird at the time, and poor, Zahhak or Malk or Keith would end up dead, but, such is life. But yeah, I'd give it a really solid B, like top B. I'd put it like at the top of the B list right now. It was a very good first tier fight for this particular
It
tier,
was.
and I really liked it.
It really was. Right, Tan.
Okay. So this was if we don't count the first Binding Coil, this is my first Savage experience starting this tier. So I'm with you, Zahhak and Kale. Oh wait, Zahhak, you actually did E1 through 4, so
Yeah.
never mind. I'm with you, Kale. So this being an intro, I really liked this fight as a melee DPS because it required you to be a little bit more proactive instead of reactive. Like you had to move in the middle of that cast bar or you're going to get shut down, which was interesting, especially coming in from a new Raiders perspective. As far as like the rating of it, as long as it's above E1, I'm okay where it's at as far as introductory raids go. So it being an A, as long as E1 remains in B, it being an A is completely fine. I think it's a much better introduction to raiding a tier.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. It was a better first tier fight.
Mechanics were
than anyone was.
complicated, like Chain Lightning and Furious 14. They seem complicated at first, but once you get them down, it's definitely more complicated than E1's mechanics. But they're still friendly enough that once you get it down, you can start learning when exactly do you have to move to your spear so you get knocked back and break your spear. And you could try and play around with Chain Lightning, like particularly with Triangle Strat, to allow maximum uptime.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Felt satisfying.
Yeah, that is true. Just in case, also when it came to Triangle, if somebody fucked up, the off tank could actually cover.
Off tank could step in, yeah.
And that wasn't something you used at all. Triangle Strat and Puck basically get it done because the personal responsibility in Pokes tends to be a bit lower than your average static. But Circle Strat could also go very, very badly. And when it failed hard. There was no recovering from it.
No recovery whatsoever.
Yeah, so me being the scholar and being able to move and leave our casters and our melee just to be able to stand there and never do anything and just have complete uptime during Triangle Strat, during Chain of Lightning was very handy. It was something that I really enjoyed being able to do, as opposed to putting everybody out with Circle Strat just because it was easy. So.
That's true. Alright, so I just remember something about Chain Lightning back. It actually also, when it passed to you, it gave you like you had an AoE around you too.
Yeah, so you had to be separated far enough out.
I just remember that.
Be right back.
Alright, while she is BRB, we're gonna move over to the next fight, which is Furor or Furor or Ifruda. Let's call it Ifruda. There you go.
Elemental Hero, Flame Wingman.
Shit. You're right.
Alright, so this fight, I actually found it to be a lot of fun, to be honest. When I first progged this, let me just leave it here for now. When I first progged this shit, it was Samurai, and there was one thing that I couldn't quite figure out, but that's optimization things, whatever. The first phase, the Garuda phase, that was actually rather simple. It was rather really boring compared to the other fights. If the Ifrit section though, it was way more fun, way more interesting, especially when the soccer mechanic came along. I don't know what it's called anymore, but it would basically he kicks a fireball into the middle and that's your safe spot. And that was actually fun. Then you have to fight them both, and he did yet another soccer mechanic. The section that they let's see, they fuse, I guess.
Rocks pasta.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah,
Rock to pasta. Yeah.
pasta. Yeah. So that was it was really just more the same, just with a little bit more fire, I guess. It was just boring, really. Got back down to boring again. Even as a tank, because I did tank this fight too. It's still just boring. It is an interesting fight, but it was boring for me specifically. So my rating, it's a C. Jen is not here, so Kel.
Alright. For me personally, this was an S tier fight, actually.
Really?
Interesting.
This and Refold, like, I loved hugging this one, actually. Like, I don't know, it just, for me, it felt a lot of high tempo. I especially liked healing it, because I was doing mostly Astro during this point in my rating.
Mhm.
And what I would end up, like, I just liked, especially Conflag Strike. That was, to me, a whole lot of fun. Especially whenever you get paired with a tank who knows how to mitigate.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really have to pay too much attention to them, and it was just it's so beautiful.
I had completely forgotten about Conflict.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Like, actually, what my favorite thing to do was I would always hope and pray I would get paired with a Dark Knight, and the Dark Knight would just living dead through Conflag Strike, basically, and then I would just top them all off at the end.
Well, there's also another one that would be great to get paired with, as if you're a healer, would be Paladin.
Oh, definitely, but honestly, I enjoyed having it be Dark Knight more because it was a little more entertaining because you actually had that pressure at the tail.
Oh, that you had to heal him. Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, the soccer phase was. Soccer phase is like a weird thing because everyone does uptime soccer in pugs, so it's just there.
It was just extra damage.
It was just everyone takes extra damage for a little while.
Yeah, as a healer, early 6, not a fan of uptime soccer. I'm just gonna put that out.
I came in though at 5.3 basically in terms of rating, so people were past low eye level for it. So
They were already pretty high on the eye level. Yeah.
Yeah, it was farming it, like progging it fresh and trying to do uptimes. It was not fun.
Well, okay.
Later on, like when you were farming it later on, just trying to gear it and stuff, it was fine. I didn't care. But early prog, uptime soccer, not a fan.
Okay, well, we have me giving it a C. Kel will give it an S. Jane, are you available to give your thoughts, or we go to 10 for now?
Go ahead and go to 10. I'm thinking.
All right, 10.
Okay.
This is your bane, right?
Well, I was a samurai for this one. I didn't switch to Dragoon until this most recent tier. So I didn't really have a whole lot of issues in regards to holding my jumps. I know I'd have a problem with it, and I'll get to that in a second. But I view this fight as a lot of style, a lot of flash, not a lot of substance, really. Each one, Garuda and Ifrit, had their own mechanics, maybe 2 or 3 apiece, and then Rock to Pasta combined them with extra Conflag Strike. So it just looks really cool, but there wasn't a whole lot to it, which I could appreciate with its own merit. But I just really... And it's not because we had some issues with it. That wasn't the fight's fault. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of meat there, and I think it feels pretty bad as far as some classes go. With the Garuda like chopping the arena in half and having that death bar there. It just feels really bad for classes that are dependent on, for instance, Dragoon's jumps to, oh, I can't do parts of my rotation at this point, else I die and ruin everything. It just does not feel very good. And then with Conflag Strike, I feel bad for the tanks because they have to go all the way out with the healers, sacrificing all uptime and just sitting there tomahawking, or I guess Paladins had Holy Spirit, so that wasn't too bad.
Depending on how they did the rotation, yeah.
Depending on how they did a rotation.
Yeah, the vast majority of the time, Holy Spirit was not up unless you intentionally held
it for that.
To keep it for that phase. You basically had to work your rotation and not do it correctly and lower your DPS to have better DPS for that.
Yeah, and I feel bad for tanks specifically for that part. Though Conflag was cool, I did like you had to be very knowledgeable of the cone, and it's way more than 180. You had to be knowledgeable of that, which I did like. But yeah, ultimately, I just view it as a lot of style, no substance. I think C is a good place for it.
Okay. That's 2 C's, 1 S. Jen?
I'm probably somewhere in the... Most of my issues with this fight came from the frustration it caused. More than frustration. I mean, and for the various reasons you guys have already mentioned. From a healer perspective, especially once you got to final phase, the fight wasn't that hard to heal through. There were specific things you had to look for. Make sure you keep the tanks during conflag, stuff like that. But it wasn't that challenging in most aspects once people weren't dying to stupid stuff all the time, because that's just broad. But I really liked the mechanics. I liked the mechanics that you've seen before in other fights, going all the way back to 2.x basically, and brought them into this and then put them together. I really enjoyed the nostalgia of it, and the fact that you were fighting 2 primals at once to me was really cool. But as fights go, it's just not one of my favorites in the tier. I enjoyed it, but I didn't dislike it, so I'd probably put it somewhere in like a, I guess.
Somewhere in where? I'm sorry?
Like a B.
Like a B?
Yeah, I don't think I'd quite put it all the way down in here. Most of my frustrations in that fight came from my friends having frustrations, which just brought the whole group down and frustrated everybody.
Yeah. I tried to take that out.
Yeah, that wasn't, like, I didn't have any personal frustrations with the fight. It was more the fact that it was driving other people crazy, so that lowered my enjoyment of that fight during the night, basically, so...
Yeah, so we have an S, 2 C's, and a B. Can we make a C+? Yeah, we'll put it as
just leave it at C, that's fine.
Put it as a C+, but I'm not gonna put another rank in there.
Yeah.
You could just make it like the quote-unquote top of C.
The top of C, which...
Yeah, I'd put it at top of C. Not the worst. I think that's coming up.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on this stupid fight. It's rank D, instantly D. It is a boring ass fight. Like the whole portal mechanics. Okay, that was cool. The portal mechanics were cool when you were progging.
At first.
Once you figure that shit out, it is literally one of the stupidest things that you could have done in this fight. You either move forward, then you move back, or you move forward, you stay, and then you move back. What? Hello?
This is the fight before the final one of this tier?
Yes!
Oh my God.
This fight, bird thing, whatever the fuck you're fighting, it's just...
The Idol of Darkness.
That, yes. This Idol of Darkness is just way underwhelming. The DPS check was surprisingly easy to meet too. The what's it called? There was the Bird NATO fight phase. That was actually cool. Because it had, you had to handle your colors, make sure you're standing in the right color. The orbs that you have to pop, that was actually cool.
I actually wish we had been able to, like, see of that particular phase, because that was my favorite phase in the entire dang fight.
Oh, it
It,
looked
it
so
was
damn
it was
cool.
it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. The the ad face. Fuck that ad face. Oh god. Oh
Ad
god.
face is the hardest part of the fight.
Yeah, it really, in my opinion, it really is. Yeah, it's so bad. That, oh my god, on controller, the teleport. Oh my god,
I wondered if the teleport controller meme was gonna make it in
the
here or
on
not.
controller is so bad. Until you get used to it, but holy shit, it's bad.
It
It's
seemed
really
to be
disorienting.
universally hard at first on controller, and then some people would pick it up really quick. That's like Keith picked it up nearly instantly on his controller, and it drove him up a wall because people kept dying to it. But that's just him. But for other people who literally could not consistently keep controller and teleporters happy, like poor Aletha and her controller and teleporters, it nearly ruined the fight for her. So I liked the mechanic, I enjoyed it, but then again, I was on the PC and I was on mouse and keyboard. I think mechanics like that are awesome, but they need to be able to be done consistently across all input, and that wasn't how that fight worked out.
Yep, got that right. What would you give it? Cause I give it a D, like solid. If the lowest of D, I would give it.
Oh, Jen muted herself.
Yes, you did.
I think she'd agree with you.
But no, I'm muting myself just because I got background noise. When I want to say something, I'll unmute. So don't worry about it.
What would you give it though? The rank, Jen.
I don't think I disliked it enough to give it a D. I really liked some parts fight. I loved the portal mechanic, even if it was fairly simplistic in the end. It was something that was different. It kept you on your toes. And I think if there had been too many options for that, like maybe if you had to pick from 4 or even 6 different patterns, might have been too much for a mid-tier fight. But the fact that it was just 2 was a little disappointing and brain dead, but that's what we named it. But I really liked a lot of the aspects, and again, how you were interacting with it, and you weren't just interacting with the boss or to interact the entire area. I really liked that aspect. It takes me back into Titan. But I think some of the execution on it could have been done much better and handled better. So for me, I'd probably give it a C. Like, I liked the fight. It had a ton of potential, but it just didn't quite deliver.
What did you say? I'm sorry, got cut off.
C.
C? Okay.
Yeah, I would give it a C. It had a ton of potential, but just didn't quite deliver. Too many
Okay.
frustrations.
Okay, that's fair. Kel?
Alright. This fight was boring. This
Damn.
fight was boring. I put it, like, if I'm just gonna say, like, at the upfront, if I were to rate it personally, it's, like, bottom of C, borderline D. But, for me, the worst, because, like, I was pugging this, and tanks don't know how to walk in a circle in pugs.
Oh god.
Tanks
True.
don't know how to walk in a circle, and it was annoying. It was a constant wipe during ad phase. Like, you'd say, oh, we're on Birdnado prog. No, you're on ad prog. And, like, yes, that's a meme that goes into the next fight as well, that everything is not the prog you say it is. But when it's ad phase prog the whole time, it's just annoying.
Indeed. You cannot get past ads because people cannot, walk in a circle.
And
Oh,
it really
man.
wasn't a hard concept. It's like every time the boss blows somebody up,
Oh man.
if the ad does a mechanic, to the next corner.
Mm-hmm.
But
Simple.
yeah, that was impossible.
Yep. It was either clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on the tank that the one that you can't tank. But you know, it's too hard. Anyway, Tan.
Oh man, this fight. I thought it looks really cool. Like the portals when you first see it are even in normal mode super intimidating. The teleportation mechanic, really cool on paper, but as with Jen said, a lot of controller users had extreme issues with it that didn't have a whole lot of parity with mouse and keyboard, because mouse and keyboard you could literally just turn your camera and click and boom, you instantly turned around in the direction you want to go and you don't have to mess with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so some frustrations on the design of that, and then the ad phase honestly was my favorite part of the fight, being because it was the most challenging part. The DPS check was super tight. There are mechanics that everyone had to worry about. Especially back to the DPS check compared to the rest of the fight. It's almost felt like this fight was a victory lap, a pre-victory lap for the next fight, just to make you feel better about yourself. I will say Birdnado looked very pretty. I loved what it did with the floor.
Indeed.
And I actually liked that mechanic. I know it's simple, but moving back into the floor space you need to go, yeah, felt bad as a melee because sometimes you'd be away from the boss, but it still looked cool. And I know I dinged E6S for being stylish over substance, but hey, this one's prettier. Yeah, with it unfortunately being the lead up to this next fight, I think high D, low C is a good spot for it.
High D, low C. Okay.
Also, the AoEs hit like a Mack truck.
Yes.
I will give it that.
Can confirm. Yes.
The AoE, like going into the after the ads, yeah, that really does hit hard.
Third eye didn't save you.
Oh,
The 10% didn't do shit.
because I didn't mention the teleportation or whatever. So, as you all are begrudgingly aware of how I play,
Oh my god, right? You click the abilities.
Oh, right.
and that actually makes it extremely difficult to teleport as well.
I don't.
That makes sense.
I cannot wrap my head around.
You were also
how
on your
you do
laptop for this fight too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were on your little turtle. Yeah.
Man, you are so much more forgiving of this fight. Given the circumstances
just
that you
worked
had.
out.
I mean, to be fair, I also didn't know better because this was my first raid tier.
Fair enough.
Even though, I don't have, the fondest of memories of this fight in particular, I think the nostalgia of it being in the first tier for me is...
It holds a special place. Understand.
Alright. Now that we got all of that out of the way,
S tier.
I think all of us here can most certainly agree that this next fight is stupid fun, stupid frustrating at certain points, but it deserves this very, very, very easily.
Preach.
There's no argument between us here. I'm more than sure that we all agree that it belongs in S tier, period. And these are my reasons. Frog in this fight, as a samurai, it was genuinely one of the most fun things that I have done. And since I started raiding, this is genuinely one of the most fun fights. The forward or back mechanic that she has, what is it, driving or something else? I forgot the other one.
Biting.
I'm sorry?
Biting.
Biting?
Biting.
Okay,
Biting.
so yeah, driving forward and bite the butt. Okay, cool. So
Beep beep.
pretty much. That forward and back mechanic was actually The first time that I have seen it, like, you know, the forward, she covers like, what is it, like 120, 180, whatever, an angle.
If it was a forward, she covered about approximately 270 degrees, and if it was
Yeah.
behind, it was approximately
It was just a
90.
small cone in front of her that
Yeah.
was still accessible. The rest of the arena was ice.
Yeah, so that forward and back mechanic was actually pretty fun. Later on in the fight, she does that same mechanic again, but it's back to back, like no cast times. It just does it. Oh my god, the ad face. Oh my god, that ad face. Oh my god, let's not talk about the ad face.
I actually liked the ad phase.
The ad face was, it was okay, but I had way too many wipes to the ad face.
Oh, there was a lot of wipes, but I liked it because it gave me something to do, and I liked having to optimize it basically.
Okay, well, for me it was almost no, well, as a samurai anyway. Like the way that I did that phase, basically I go in there and I nuke the aqueous with double Midari, and then I would need some help on the second aqueous because I refuse to use Senai on it.
Oh yeah, you want that for your reopener, yeah.
Yeah, I refuse to do that. But anyway, moving on to other phases of the fight. Lights rampant
It's at the beginning of the fight, so we might as well talk about it.
and fucking Eorzea strat. I have a genuine hate for that. And it's for the simple reason that Party Finder can't do they just can't do fucking light rampant. Like at all.
No.
Some did, some were able to do it, but then you go later on in the fight and you wipe to the other lights rampant, the dragon song.
Icelit dragon
Icelit,
song.
yeah. They will go over there and wipe to that one, which is easier.
Infinitely.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean, even Ilya hates Ilya strat, so.
Yeah, like, that was just something that was done. That was just a strategy that was done. Just, you know, I think it was a week 1.
Yeah, it was the week 1, we
Like
just
a
need to get
day
past
one
this part
strat,
strat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it was just, just week 1 and that's it. But Party Finder cannot freaking adjust to better strats.
Really can't.
Oh my god. That was just horrible. Whatever. We're over it. We survived Shiva.
Did we do it or did we do the other one?
We did Ilya.
We did Ilya. Because that's what Party
Didn't we
Finder
do like a modified Ilya?
No.
No.
No, just us melees didn't play it as safe as we probably should have. About the only modification we did.
I mean, I really fight. I don't ESD that's from it, probably because it's from a healer perspective and not a melee or a tank. But it was challenging to do. Mostly, I think what frustrated me the most was that if one person messed up, everybody died. That was the thing that annoyed me the most. Most fights aren't that unforgiving. There may be one mechanic that's usually a fairly easy mechanic that if someone sticks a toe in the wrong spot or something like, I don't know, standing in meteors or something, you know? But the fact that there were so many ways to die in Lights Rampant beyond frustrating at some points. It was a great mechanic. I mean, it was a nice, interesting part of the fight, but there were just way too punishing on the mistakes, I think. And I think that's what really blew up a lot of rage.
It was a very challenging part of the fight, that Lights Rampant.
And it was right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You knew from the start if this group was gonna make it through it or not.
At least you were able to reset easy enough. It was 8 minutes in the fight, but and I'm looking at a mechanic in 12 for this one right now. But but I really liked the fight. It was a solid final tier. This is the boss is gonna wreck your face for this tier. You will not get past me unless you put in the time. The DPS check was tight.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
very
Oh, yeah.
unforgiving. And there were so many different mechanics, but yet they were really reminiscent of the original Shiva. Like, a lot of it you could tie all the way back to, to the first Shiva and actually those mechanics again. And that was really enough for me. I liked it. But yeah, I have no arguments with it staying up at S tier. As frustrating as that fight got, it was still an epic fight that I really enjoyed.
Indeed. It was a really fucking good fight. Hale.
So, this was actually the first fight that I got a static for.
Ooh.
I don't blame you.
Well, no, actually, I got recruited into the static because of a friend.
Oh.
So, I wasn't even looking. Well, like, I was looking for a static at that point because I was like, ooh, it'd be kind of nice to have a group instead of pugging. But this was the first fight that I had a static for, so it was like, obviously it's gonna hold a really special place.
Yeah,
in my
extra
heart.
special for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, night and day prog there between Pug and Static, man.
And the very first time I stepped into this fight, we got to add phase.
Jesus.
Wow.
I had studied hard prior to like going into this fight the first time, because again, this was also during 5.3, so we had item level advantage at that point.
Mhm.
But I literally, it was the first time, and we actually somehow did light ramp it without a hitch. It was also Ilya strat.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, the other people in the static had actually done it, and I was on chain duty, so, I had easy
Yay for casters
baby
chains.
thing,
Cool.
but still. Add phase, I enjoyed. Honestly, I actually had more wipes to add phase than to light rampant.
Really?
Yes.
Damn. Our experience have differed.
Yeah. For me, the hardest mechanic was knockback mirrors.
Oh, that was actually one of the easiest ones for me, personally.
Because of the timing.
I think that for us, once the timing got down, I mean, we got knocked off periodically, but we didn't
Yeah.
want it once the timings. I really liked the everybody go north, just live with it phase, as opposed to having to do it in the middle.
Yeah. Because I was still on my potato laptop. Hi, Bon. So I was still on my potato okay, bye. Okay, hi.
Bon's back.
So I was on my potato laptop at that point. So timing was extremely difficult to get down because
Yeah,
it wouldn't
hear
always
that.
communicate in time.
I-
But other than that, Shiva was definitely it is my favorite fight of any of the savages.
Agreed.
Especially once we got to Worm's Lament 2.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know what's happening, but why is E6S not have its own special big gay baby jail tier?
I
Welcome,
liked
Bon.
E6.
You're allowed to have poor taste.
You can't account for it sometimes, unfortunately.
Bon,
E6
you'll be
is my
happy to
third
know
favorite
that
fight.
it's where it is for me because of how much frustration it caused my friends. I actually liked that fight, so
You know what,
that's why it
that's-
got shoved down to C.
That's fair.
I did
I-
remember you. I did.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. I just have beef with 6. So much beef.
We know you do.
Yeah. For those of you who wonder, Vaughn means
arena-
Dragoon. So yeah,
Yeah, I went to bat for you with Dragoons.
he
Bon,
did.
With
He
that
did. He
fight,
went to
I
bat for you,
specifically
dude.
called out
He did.
the fact that you have to ignore jumps for a section of the fight, and that's bullshit.
The arena is ugly, the music is blah, the boss doesn't look very good, and I have to hold my fucking jumps, which are a major part of the DPS during a massive fucking phase of the mechanics, which are a big chunk of the fight. Fuck 6.
Oh my god.
And the boss looks like a ugly amalgamation of chewed up candies.
Watermelon.
Yeah. Like the watermelon fucking Sour Patch Kids that you get. You like chew them up, and then you like chew up a bunch of them up, and then you just like take them out of your mouth, and you just slap them on top of each other. It looks all gross, and you make it look like a funky demon thing.
Damn. he really hates this fight.
I did mention that part of my dislike of 6 was how much frustration it caused my friends.
Man.
No
It's
offense
okay.
to you, Kale.
It's okay, boss.
I just have beef.
I also was only pugging it, so I didn't have other people to worry about in terms of their enjoyment.
Fair. Very fair.
I couldn't tier them, so
That was not your problem.
What's
pretty
in
much.
What's in D? I can't tell.
The
Um,
bird.
Oh.
Iconoclasm.
7. Teleports?
I don't think she did that one.
Nope, she
No,
she was
because
done
that's
after
when I
6.
left.
Yeah, she was done after 6.
I tried 7,
Honestly,
but like I play on a
yeah.
controller, so
Yep.
Yeah, we pointed that out.
That's yeah, poor Bon. You're okay, Bon. The nightmare is over.
So, I'm eyeballing 9 down there.
Oh yeah.
Cloud of
there's
Darkness.
Cloud of
What do we
Darkness.
think?
Well, moving on to dark stuff. This fight, I'm just dropping it there. That doesn't belong there. This fight. This is the first fight that I actually went ninja for. On my other group. At this point, I had 2 groups. Smile! So on one group, I was a ninja. With you guys, I was a tank. So I'm gonna give 2 perspectives from here on out. Cool!
I love it.
Overachiever.
So, as a ninja, starting off with that one. As a ninja, it was actually surprisingly easy because you're melee, you basically didn't have to worry about shit. With the exception of basically the tiles, I guess, because that has to be like a group effort and you have to manage the times that you move. Make sure everybody can reset their thing, make sure nobody dies and blah blah blah. Again, that was surprisingly easy. The only other part that I guess would be challenging in this fight, it would be right after the first tiles that she comes out and she brings in her clones, and you have to figure out the what is the pieces life that's safe.
I hate summon.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, summons.
Yeah.
Summon.
So yeah, that part was actually challenging until you figure out what the fuck you need to do. Oh yeah, and towards the end of the fight, there's one final mechanic that has the towers and the brambles and I don't know what it's called, but you know, it has the tower brambles. Let's call it that. That everybody has to take their brambles. They have to put them in the correct spots. Everybody has to run across the boss. Everybody has to go to their own tower, and everybody's happy and you're clear because everything else after that is just brain dead. So as a DPS, good. It's good. It's okay. Have fun. Have fun rugging it. As a tank, really as a tank, I just see it more as another DPS really, because I off tanked it and I'd have to worry about shit, except for the one tank swap I had to do, and it wasn't really a tank swap. It was just here, poke it real quick and give it right back, and that's it. So that was okay.
It's
I
tile
guess.
memes. That's what the fight is. It's tile memes.
Yeah, the only part I guess is if you go in Party Finder, it's just
It's Fall Guys and Party Finder.
not that much, surprisingly enough. The part that people die the most is the the tower brambles. That's surprisingly enough the
As
part
far
that
as
people.
I made it in Prague.
And that's because people apparently don't do freaking brambles correctly. People don't know how to do any brambles.
What's
They
the
really don't.
what's the strat that PF uses now?
It's divided
They still
between
use
myth
happy
all the
brambles and
time.
myth.
Most of them, it's myth now. That's like the pug strat that took over. Why, I don't know, because happy's easier, but whatever.
I can't do myth.
I refuse to
See,
do myth.
See, on Ether for a while, and I think it's still the case. Happy Brambles is the main thing, but
It
I don't
is,
know
yeah.
because
Well, apparently some people have intelligence.
There's also another strat that's box strat that is just 4 and 4. Like 4 people, tanks, healer, DPS. I mean, tanks and healers go on like the north side, northeast side, or northwest side. Doesn't matter which, but you know they will form a box there. And then the 4 DPS on the south side, either southeast or southwest, they will do the same thing. And everybody's happy. No, that's not happy. Happy is on each intercardinal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, as a tank is it's okay. I give this a B. It'll stay there for me. All right, Jen looks like she's either busy or doing something. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh, thoughts?
I really liked this fight, but it was. I suppose most of my enjoyment from it came because it was almost like a breath of relief after so much Shiva proc. It was that challenging to heal, but you did have to stay on top of things, particularly during brambles and during the AoE phases later on. But I liked the to do, and that casters weren't pushed as much as they usually are for having kind of nice. You had a lot of time for slide casting in this particular fight. But I have to say plate phase was probably just because it was very interactive and you weren't just standing there casting the entire time. Responsibilities you had to at specific points and stuff like that. So I enjoyed it. It was a solid first fight for the tier, I think. It had some new mechanics that were interesting. Wasn't particularly challenging, but then again, the first fight of a tier should be, because I think they should rank. So I think for me, yeah, a solid B would be good. I didn't really have any major beef fight, at least not the way we did the fight. I have beefs with pugs do it at some point, but that's not really this discussion, so. But yeah, I liked the fight. It was a lot of my enjoyment for this particular fight came in plate trolls, but you know, whatever.
Yo, that reminds me actually of one plate troll. It was actually more of an accident, but Keith, he went to sub for my other group once. He was a machinist, whatever. He died during. He died. I think it was right before plates, so he got rest, and instead of jogging to his position, and he has rest immunity, so it doesn't activate the 2 people standing in one, and you just instantly drop. He popped sprint.
Oh.
He immediately started murdering everybody.
Lovely.
Okay. Keith has a clip up of Aletha.
Mm-hmm.
Do we all remember Aletha's Aether Skate?
Oh yes, I do.
If you can find it.
Oh, I've got it right here.
Oh,
Give
can
me
you
just
post
a
it so I
second
can
and
show
will
it here?
link it.
It's
got it.
amazing. I say that as one of the people she killed.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that when y'all were discussing when you were talking about 6, did you find my absolute fucking rage moment?
No.
When we
No,
were
it
progging
was
and-
on. I actually looked for it, but it was on Remy's stream and the clip's gone. So.
Rip. I still have it. Let me go back into my secret stash.
This is it? Yeah, this is it. Okay. So
Yeah, I raised her, and
let's have a look at this clip here.
yeah, I raised her. Keith, yeah. So that's Keith and the one you, Tan and me. Yeah, it just.
Oh my god. Okay, cool. Time out. Okay. So she. Oh my god.
Yeah, so Keith has the main view, and then Tan.
Okay,
me
so
in
she
the back,
rests.
Then you.
Oof. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I didn't even remember. I was a
There's
victim.
there's no voice audio because we were all freaking out.
We were laughing so hard.
I was a victim. I didn't remember this.
You suppressed it, dude.
It's so impressive.
Look at me.
Respawn.
I'm over here minding my own business as a maid, you know, taking care of business as maids do, and I get freaking murdered. Oh my god.
I love that Keith just stops. He stops and he's the boss.
He goes to
It
murder
just
people.
opts to kill
Oh my
somebody.
god. Keith, why?
Oh, wonderful.
That one and the. Sorry, background. That.
That's just... Think about the timing though.
The other favorite one. I think, to be fair, I think I'm the one who started when I killed Tan, stepped forward and stepped back and killed Tan, and then Keith went after Carl, and Carl lived and then went after somebody else, and it was just all of us just early prog killing each other.
Zahhak,
Yeah.
the clip of me fucking screaming is in our DMs, dude.
It is?
Yes.
Can you link?
Yeah, hold on. Let me grab it.
I don't know if, you know.
I think that's it yet.
Alright, let's see.
Not at all. You just stay put.
Yeah, I
I was trying to.
I wasn't fucking happy.
Yeah, I was trying to find Celeste. Celeste,
No, let's find you.
you're now an honorary
Oh,
melee.
fucking goddamn it!
Oh, yep, there it
Oh,
is.
rip everybody over here.
Yeah, I
Wait,
wasn't
what
happy.
happened to? How did you die?
I jumped!
Oh.
Oh.
Good things.
So you jumped into the purple, I'm guessing?
That was...
Yeah, I did, but are you serious? I can't have my fucking toolkit because I have to jump in this stupid thing?
Not at all. You just stay put.
I wasn't happy.
Yo.
I could understand hating
A
this
bit of
fight
an
as a
understatement.
dragoon.
The thing
We're
is...
still very early in prog at this point.
We had been in here, what, maybe like... This was the first time we had seen this mechanic. We were like day one prog at this point, I think.
Yeah, I think we were just in here.
Yo, the thing is my reaction. It's like, how'd you die? I jumped. Oh.
Thanks.
It's like,
like-
dragoon things, like Tucker said.
Like, I'm gonna do my kit. I'm gonna do my rotation. Nope. No, you're not.
No, you're not. You're not gonna do your rotation.
It's awful.
It
Yeah.
sucks.
Sadness.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
You're okay.
Still mad about it.
Yeah, I can tell.
Uh,
You're okay, Bon. The nightmare's over. You're okay.
I felt nothing when we cleared. I didn't even feel happy that we cleared. I just felt annoyed and upset. I didn't feel a goddamn thing. I was so just done with the fight that I didn't want to go back in for anybody else's gear. I didn't want anything. I just wanted to not have to do it again. I was so just frustrated at that point, dude.
Oh boy, that's just things happened.
And I'm pretty sure my DPS wasn't even terrible back then. Or for most of those fights. I mean, I wasn't gray. That's a win in my book.
You were fine.
I almost hit blue on removal a couple of times, but you know.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Don't worry, you're fine.
Anyway, how about that doggo fight?
Well, we're still not done with that.
Oh, are you still talking about 9?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We got kill and then tan. Kill, gold.
So this chronicles the beginning of my Russian roulettes.
Oh yeah, it does.
I have played this. I have done this raid on Paladin, Astro, Scholar, Red Mage, Black Mage, Ninja, Machinist, Dancer, and Bard.
That's a lot. And now you
Basically,
guys.
Basically, every single role he could do, he
yes, I have done this fight on every single roll. I will say that this fight, ironically, I had a lot of fun playing this fight on Black Mage the one time I did it. I did it for
quite likes this
memes,
fight.
and it actually went surprisingly well. But, this fight, while fun and Tile Phase, well, it's just kind of there, in my opinion. And I would personally, rate it as, top of C, bottom of B kind of thing.
Okay, so far everybody's in agreement around that range.
And
Yeah. Pretty good spot for a first fight.
yeah. I will say though that my least favorite thing was the healer LB3 mechanic.
Is that a thing?
It
We
was
never
the
used
face
it.
butt group. Unfortunately, you might not have, but unfortunately, my group could not seem to ever get the where half of the group goes to the front, half of the group goes behind during after the second brambles.
hmm
And 3/4 of the time there was always a healer LB3, and it was so upsetting.
Oh, okay. I think I
That's a
know the
big
one that
oof.
you mean. Yeah, during the
Yeah, I
second
know which one you're
Brambles, the
talking
one
about
that
now,
goes
but yeah, no,
after towers.
We never had that.
Yeah, after towers, with the two AoEs from the tethers and
Mhm.
the double arts.
Yeah, thankfully that wasn't. We really didn't have a healer LB3 in that fight very often. At least not intentionally.
Ironically, we all, when I started doing this with you all, I still saw it quite a few times, having to be healer LB3. So,
I mean, it happened, but it wasn't like
It wasn't a
say,
s- it
I
wasn't
don't
a
know,
strat?
triple APOC or something,
yeah,
where
it
healer
wasn't like a
LB3 is-
strat, it just
Yeah.
happened too
Mm.
often, basically, for me.
Yeah.
Saw it a lot. Man,
Yes.
you dragooned this.
I did. I switched to Gundis tier. My baby. Love that damn class.
I
Gonna
stole
miss
it
it
from
next
you.
tier.
I stole it from you.
Oh no, it's fine. I was happy to raid Sam. I got to play another class for a while, and that just made me appreciate Dragoon all the more.
Fair.
It's I guess this fight is kind of inoffensive. As far as an opening fight goes, I like Ramu better. But tile memes are tile memes, and this fight was endlessly entertaining for that
We were
reason.
always dying to something in the fight.
Oh, there's always something that happened. Like I jumped into a bramble, or I got a tile stepped on, and I fell and died. Like there's always something that made the fight fun for me. And my floor tank status was cemented before it even started.
I
Tan.
think the
for this
elusive
fight.
jump into the bramble was probably my favorite.
I was so mad.
Tan, do you remember Chain Lightning?
Yeah. Like which part of it?
The parts where we wiped to it.
Oh. Yes.
Be right back.
Oh, because you and I would get too close, like on the
Oh
backside.
no, it wasn't both of us.
Oh.
But I digress anyway. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be a good bon. I'm not gonna be a meanie pants.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna be a meanie pants in voice. I'll be a meanie pants in text.
Okay.
Okie doke. Yeah, I'm always a floor tank, and this just kind of established that no matter what class I'm playing, I'm going to die for stupid reasons. But that's just me. So this fight overall, I like it. I think B's fine. Fulmination again, just like E1, as long as Fulmination is above E1 and E9, it's fine where it's at.
Hey Tan.
Hmm.
Myth strat and jumps.
We never did Myth Strat, I don't think.
No, we
I think
didn't.
we did Happy.
Dragoons can't jump during myth strat.
So if we
I
did
don't know
Myth
what that is, but I
Strat,
hate it.
Myth strat basically, like, whenever she's doing her, I don't even remember what they're called anymore.
What?
But, like, where she, slingshots herself to one of the walls.
Oh,
the brambles-
anti-air or
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
anti-air and
yeah.
whatnot. The brambles are her hitbox.
Oh, that's awful.
So if you jump, you get hit by the brambles and take half of your health and damage.
terrible.
Yeah.
So basically, Dragoons had to not jump if they do myth strat during that section. And it was always up. Your jumps were always up during that section.
Yeah,
That
that's
makes
true.
me want to fucking scream.
So that's actually part of also why I put it at top of C rather than B, is because of the existence of myth strat and its prevalence in pugs. Because it makes certain jobs just suck.
Terrible.
Enforcing downtime on jobs that when you can change the strat and everyone can have uptime, enforcing that is it's just stupid. It's just dumb.
Hey,
And that goes for anything. Casters too. I know I'm melee preference, but casters, it goes for them too.
like if it's a week 1 thing, which it really was a week 1 strat just to see if
To get past it.
Get
If
past
it's
it
a
and
week
do
one
that to
strat
fight.
and you're not worried about the DPS check at the moment, you're just
No.
learning about learning the fight, then that's fine. You'll sacrifice uptime to learn the fight, but then as you get more comfortable with the fight, go with uptime strats, because what's going to kill you is not the mix, it's the DPS check from losing so much uptime.
Mm-hmm. But apparently, Party Finder will be Party Finder, but whatever. Moving on. So yeah, that's a solid B fight. Okay. Doggy.
D.
Ah, yes, my wife.
Definitely a D. I don't
The feels though.
like
My wife.
this fight.
Understandable though.
I do not like it. The reasons that I don't like it. Okay, so there are parts that are cool. Let's go ahead and admit that. Sure, there are parts that are cool about this fight. But
What's the cool
The-
part?
I forgot the name of it. It's towards the end towards the end of the fight that you have to do like the towers with your partner and force
Oh,
the
Void
shadow.
Gate.
Yep,
Void Gate
Void Gate
2.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get to.
So that's the one part about this fight that I really liked. Everything else, I disliked it. As a melee or in a tank, I just didn't like it. It was a little bit more enjoyable as a tank because of the forced tank swap. And, you actually had to worry about your cooldown rotation to make sure, you're either not taking too much damage. And make sure that you have your cooldowns also for, like, the tank busters. Mainly, I just involved it because Gunbreaker's cooldown is actually one of the shortest one. What is it? Like 360 seconds. What is that? 5 minutes? A little more than 5 minutes?
6 minutes? 6 minutes.
300 is a 6 minute. Gunbreaker has the second longest cooldown. Dark Knight is 5 minutes and Warrior's 4 minutes.
So Gunbreaker could actually take both along with the other tanks, but yay for Gunbreaker because that's what I played. But yeah, it was a little bit more fun on tank than it was on DPS. Also, where the freaking boss spawns the other doggos and you have to follow the good doggo, and it forces downtime. Mechanic.
Unless you wanted to use like the tank LB super shield strat.
Does it force downtime?
Yeah, it forces you to go to the safe spot, which is one quadrant of the
It's not one quadrant. It is literally just
It's a
one
sliver
wall.
on one of the walls.
well,
yeah.
on the wall. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's on the wall. Like the safe spot is on one of the walls, either north, south, east, or west. You have to go with your specific party.
Oh, okay, no, I know what you're talking about.
well-
Now I understand how it forces downtime.
Yeah, so you have to go with your specific party. The boss stays center. The tanks have to take a specific orb. The other people also have to spread out into parties of 3 so that they can take a specific orb. And sometimes the orbs are finicky as fuck.
I hate the orbs.
Snapshot you the stupidest spot.
Mm-hmm. So
See, this fight I don't know
Yeah.
too terribly much about, just in general. I just know that it's my wife. She has a really sad enrage quote, and she has a thing that's called pitch bog, but everybody calls it bitch pog.
Thank you,
His
Mr.
bitch
Happy.
bug.
bitch pog.
This
Yeah.
bitch is pretty pog.
Yeah, about that.
I think she's pretty pog.
I don't like her. She can go ditch.
D tier.
Anyway,
My
Zahhak,
biggest issue
I'm
is,
sorry.
admittedly, and this is a personal issue, not like the raid issue. I have a problem selling my left from my right,
Oh.
and this fight is left-right the fight.
It's
Pretty
true.
much.
Starboard shadow.
Let's stop it.
For me,
Starboard shadow.
for me, my biggest thing is like during like the form a box cleaves. Like,
Oh.
I had to like the callouts. If they didn't say clockwise or counterclockwise, I would not know where to go. Because I cannot do left and right stuff.
Yeah, left and right, that's always hard because you don't know how did it. Oh, yeah, that is actually one thing that's can be
Perspective
frustrating.
can
Yeah.
have a lot to do with that. Depending on
And-
who's doing the call.
The other thing to take note of is whenever you're doing it with a new group, and then you're like, oh, is it like boss relative left or your or like true north or left or what?
Mm-hmm.
I
Because
see a lot. Sorry, go on.
not everyone does the same thing, and it got to a point where I'm trying to find the thing real quick, but like I guess I'm gonna have to search it up for a moment. There was like a meme basically where it was like right lane must right left.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can get it real quick. It is this one. Like, this is basically how I feel during anything that
Right,
requires
left,
a
right,
left-right mechanic.
So for those of you wondering what he put in, this is what he put in. Right lane must left right. Wait, what?
Left, right, left.
What? I got it. Oh my
Exactly.
god, what? I gotta turn it around.
I guess you can read it right.
And now you
Oh my God.
understand why I hate left-right mechanics.
What the fuck? How did I read that so wrong? Okay, I quit
We
my
just
job.
saw that in real time.
Oh my god.
If you hard, then you hard.
And this is why I hate left-right mechanics.
Oh my god. I agree with you completely after that. Man.
I'm okay. I'm gonna preface this with saying I'm okay where it's at because as far as amazing fights, the rest of this tier is on a whole other level than this one. But this fight was okay. The force downtime during the shadows really sucked. Where you had to follow the real one, but then adding the orbs on top of that, and with these orbs, if you just so happen to be running, like let's just say you're running a little bit behind, but there's enough time to get to the safe spot, and so you're gonna run to your safe spot. Oh, but at that point in time, you just got snapshotted right next to the tank orb. So that tank orb's gonna come to you instead of the orb that you're really wanting to come to stacked with your group. So you're just gonna die. So dumb. I like, but I'm conflicted because I like this fight because it had stuff like that we'd never really seen before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see stuff like that in the future just implemented a little better.
Usually when they are first implementing mechanics, it always comes out a little bit clumsy. But for
Yeah.
a Savage fight to have something executed that clumsily, it's not very pleasant.
No, so it feels really bad. So I'd like to see stuff like this in the future, just more refined.
Undoubtedly, they'll add it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not forcing the downtime with it though.
Oh, they're gonna still do that. We're melee
They're like,
DPS,
they're
and
like,
it's a
oh,
lot.
Melee. It's like, just cry about it, Melee, okay? And we do. It's okay.
You sure do.
Yep.
High five.
At least now your ranged attacks with your comp.
Yeah, that now.
Now we don't really have an excuse to.
Now I
Like,
don't have an excuse to have it on my bar.
curse
Hey, have
you?
fun with that fucking piercing talon, Matan. I sure will.
I mean,
Ugh.
I don't necessarily disagree with the placement. I might not have been quite as harsh about it. Like, I might have put it at C if I had to just do it on my own. But I don't necessarily disagree with where it's sitting right now. I loved and hated this fight. I loved the fact that not reliant on Greg to predict where things were going to be, that you have to watch, foretell. I always do that. But certain mechanics were implemented so badly, and we're just going to go back to orbs on this one, that people could do everything right. You could all be in the correct spots. You could not have a toe out, and people still die to the orbs. You would still get a tank orb that would hit you literally from across the room, that the tank was standing way closer than you were, just because of the snapshot timing. And it drove me up the wall. But I really liked the shadow teleport mechanics. Those, the fact that you were tethered to a copy and they could stand in towers was really cool to me, that part. But some of the fight, I mean, being a healer, being a ranged DPS, downtime is a huge issue for me. But I know it is for melee, and that's not fair to you. You guys get crapped on enough in these fights between not enough true north stacks and bosses demanding that you run away from them, you die, kind of mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked the fight, but it could have been done so much better. I think it was just really kind of a letdown in the execution of this fight.
It was
So
clumsy. There
I'm-
was a lot of stuff clumsily implemented. I
I'm
think that's
like, I
mechanical.
loved
Yeah.
I loved the shadow mechanics because I like the fact that you're not reliant on a big giant yellow AoE. You have to be able to. You have more to watch in the fight. You can't just brain dead it. But the execution of some of the mechanics, like the close orb, you rarely, if ever, it was only the ones on the wall that caused major issues. I mean, yeah, you could still die to the close orb. You want to just around the boss, but you really had to almost intentionally screw those up to die. So, yeah, it needed to be cleaned up a lot, I think. It lacked a lot of optimization, which to me probably makes one of my least favorite fights in the tier. So, yeah, I'm good with where it's sitting.
Yeah, that's surprisingly all in agreement here. All right, so next fight we have, it is Anamorphosis, also known as
The
Banjit.
Thought Slayer!
Banjit.
Benjit.
You're not going anywhere.
So-
Whore!
Oh my god. That,
Did he just call me a whore?
yes, he did. We are all whores to him.
funny
Um,
because
He's saying
isn't-
you're not
isn't
going
Frankfurt the
anywhere,
one who's the
fall,
whore?
but it's still It's whore. It'll always be whore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what the word actually is, but it is not what it sounds like in game.
Yep. Now and forever no more, it is 4. Yeah, so this fight, as a melee, well, as a ninja specifically, I really didn't like the starting of the fight, the opener.
Why is the opener bad?
Well, for me, the problem was for me that as soon as I started going into my burst, the first Protean goes out. Okay, fine, but then I have at the same time that I have to put my fucking Tenchi G down, it starts to you have to move in order to be able to not die. Because there's gonna be somebody, because the way that my static did it, the other static, DPS moved for whatever fucking reason.
Oh, that
It
would
makes DPS move.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's
Why?
the problem.
For whatever fucking reason, DPS had to move.
Hello?
Why? Why?
I mean,
Okay,
It's
now I
literally part of
understand
your-
my problem.
It's literally part of your opener to not move.
Yeah.
Like,
Why are you
What?
forcing me to move?
Did it, this is the group you are ninja, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Do they just not understand how Tenchi Jin works?
Oh no, I told them. They didn't care.
They had
Okay,
some
so they're assholes, got it.
Zahhak complained about this on and off compared to like how one static versus the other. His group had some backward sneaking methods to do a few things.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes,
they also had some better methods in some
yeah.
cases, but yeah.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's like, why? But
Mhm.
whatever. Anyway.
I mean, why you would pull melee off of the for lightning is beyond me.
Oh no,
mean,
I didn't move away from the boss for it. For lightning
You
specifically.
just had to slide positions.
Yeah, for lightning specifically, I refuse to move. I am just moving slightly to the side and that's it. Good
But,
luck,
for
everyone.
Tenchi Jin, you can't move at all.
Nope.
Or else you break your Tenchi Jin, which is like,
Yep.
why the hell would they make you do that?
Yep, and I told
I mean-
and I said it, but hey, whatever.
I mean, technically, what did we do? We basically just, after Protean, just slid into the right spots and stayed there, right? Regardless of
Mm-hmm.
whatever was coming out. If people who had to move ranged.
Yep.
Because we had, 5 people around the boss for lightning?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because Tan and Aletha and who was it? Was it you? Yeah, I
I was
guess
on
because you were in your
Ninja.
burst.
Yeah, he started on Ninja here.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Because at this point, this is when we actually kidnap him.
Yep.
yep,
And
this
we
is when we
never-
stole him.
We never let him go.
For that explanation, I live in Texas. We sort of had a freeze, and I was gone with no internet for like 3 weeks. So yeah, they borrowed Kale as a pug and just never let him go. It was fine.
I think I was a healer at first.
And were
then-
you in that
Yeah.
big cold snap?
Yeah, we had like sub-zero temperatures for 2 weeks, and no water, and no power, and no internet. So yeah.
I just know that at work I was getting slammed by people who needed their heaters working, and I just felt bad because I couldn't do nothing about it.
It was bad. But yeah, the rest of the fight really as a ninja was rather fun actually. I enjoyed it. Because
This was
It
my
was just the
favorite fight of
opener
the
that got
tier.
you mainly because of your static strats more than anything.
well, sure that might have helped, but
Mm.
the whole fight is actually just simple. It's either Protean stack, Protean spread, or Protean light. What did light move? Drop the light move.
Groups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Light
it was
groups.
like groups.
It
on the
was
side.
it was stack pairs, stack light parties, or stack healer. It was healer stacks, pair stacks, or spread.
Yeah, it was. That was the whole. Minus the whole dragon faces that you had to, based on what he was channeling, either lightning or fire, that determined your safe spot. I forgot what it was called.
Sundered Sky and Shifting Sky.
I think it was Shifting Skies, the one that I'm talking about.
Well, there's 2 of them, so I don't know which one.
The second one, when he does it the second time.
That one is Shifting, I believe.
can't remember the exact name, but it is one of those. That part of the fight specifically, blue uptime, by the way. Thank you very much. That was actually really good.
Thank you, Squirter.
That's one of the best things that people figured out in that phase.
Oh no!
The fuck?
I'm sorry. I'm
I do believe Vaughn is doing something else in the background and nearly died.
I'm playing Monster Hunter Rise in the background, and
Okay.
I'm just trying to beat this Nargacuga up, and who shows up? A Rathalos.
Ah,
Oh, well, say
Nargi
hi.
Ratho combo.
Oh god, that just came out of nowhere.
Sorry.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, it was pretty fun. The one mechanic that oh no, never mind. Everything was actually pretty fun, including cycles. Even though they were a little annoying, it was still fun. As a tank, I enjoyed it slightly more. Again, because of the whole, forced tank swap things, and you actually had to, pop a cooldown for the first tank buster, and then you have another tank buster that comes up a few seconds after that because of the light debuff that it gave you, and it was also a huge AOE. I also liked the what's the one that puts like the red walls and the blue walls? What's that one called?
Like the cards?
Yeah, like the cards. Yeah, I forgot what that's called.
With the dragon coming down in the middle.
The one before.
Like the knockback cards where you had to stack or whatever, and
The
then
one that
people
I
had to run out to the corners.
The one that I used to invuln.
Ah, yes.
I forgot what
I
it's
don't
called.
remember what it's called.
Just basically cut a whole freaking part of the fight.
Yeah, you just ignored it.
You just invuln it. You guys stay
You stacked
here,
on the
that's
opposite
it.
side of
Done.
us, yeah.
Just ignore this part. Just done. I like doing that. Some people might think, oh no, why would you do that? You're wasting your invuln. So it just makes it easier.
You got the mitigation for the
I
tank
mean, you
busters.
didn't
Who cares?
technically need an invuln in that fight.
No,
So, like, you didn't need it for the busters, so
Nope.
why not use it? Enjoy it.
there is one other place that it was that I could have used it, but why use it for my own greed when I can just use it to make life easier for the party, less movement.
Yeah, and it's not like it caught you. It's not like it killed any of your uptime. You were still smacking the boss. You were just over ignoring everything on the other side.
And you still had to take a second hit of a tank buster at that point anyway, so you're kind of using your invuln for a tank buster, so...
Mm.
But yeah, overall, this fight, the mitigation planning, right? You have to plan your freaking mitigation, and feint was actually kind of useful.
Yeah.
During cycles.
Yeah,
Nonsense.
feint was good for cycles.
Single melee tier.
So yeah,
Wasn't this like the first fight of the entire stinking tier that feint was actually?
It was
Uh,
useful for the line tank buster in E10, but other than
Oh, that's
that,
true. That's true. Okay.
yeah.
It was also useful if you had to... Because you all were lucky to have a warrior.
That's true.
If you didn't have a warrior, feint was necessary for one of the tank busters. Because warrior's the only one who would let you be able to invuln the first and third ones. No other tank would be able to double invuln like that.
Ah, that's right.
I do remember having to do some serious pre-shielding on pug tanks during some of these fights that we just basically ignored because we're...
Yep. So yeah,
So-
I will give this one an A.
Oh, I would put it an S.
Really?
This is my favorite fight of the tier.
Oh. Well, for me, the reason why I don't put it at S is because these two are really tough to beat, and it doesn't
Oh,
match
I would say it's like
so I would-
bottom of S, top of A.
We'll put it A. So yeah. Jen.
I quite enjoyed this fight, mostly because my favorite fights tend to be that you're utilizing your entire bag of tricks. You have the worry about the boss, different other mechanics, and this was one of those fights because you weren't just dealing with specific mechanics the boss was throwing out, you also had floating on you, correct spot. And I really like those kind of fights, and I enjoyed the various interactions. You know, I also like the fact that everybody didn't die. That was kind of nice. But it was a very interactive fight. You had to know what you were doing, party groups, and you know, you had to make sure there was a lot of personal responsibility in this one. You had to know what your debuffs were, where to go. You know, you could rely on callouts, but in pugs, callouts aren't a thing. So you just have to watch your debuffs in there, with the tanks for lightning or get out or whatever.
Yeah. It's a
But
little.
you know,
got a few
and
things to do.
it was a good fight. I quite liked it. It was my favorite of this set of the tier until we got to 12. So I really enjoyed it. You know, the healing was challenging, but it was overwhelming. You had plenty of time to deep. A lot of forgiveness on timing mechanics. You didn't have to have something so stupid snapshotty like 10. Yeah, I'm perfectly happy with leaving it like it was a really good fight.
Mm-hmm. I agree there. Kel?
Well, it is like I actually like 11 more than both phases of 12. I feel like 11 is one of the more interactive ones in a way. Like, first off, 11 is easily the best of the third ones. Out of
The
the
ones-
third ones of a tier.
Like this. Yeah. I agree with that.
I
So
agree too.
like there is no question that 11 is extremely well created.
Mm-hmm.
And
It
I
was-
just love all the different little things that you had available and how every single bit could be useful, especially like when you had to do mitigation planning for cycles. Because that was... I like doing weird things like planning out mitigation and whatnot, so... Like, 11 just... It called to me, basically.
It was satisfying doing the mitigation right during cycles and the healing and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a fun fight to hear. I really enjoyed it.
I think I don't even know if I have... The only quote-unquote gripe I would have is if, like, basically, if we had to do the Pentagon... Well, no, not the Pentagon Shroud, because we actually did that. But, like, if we had to do, like, okay, I'm trying to figure out the words. So, if Aletha was a black mage, if I was, like, either red mage or a melee, tan melee, then the tanks, like, lightning would suck at that point a lot, because someone's gonna have to budge and lose uptime at
Mhm.
that point, because you could make a pentagon work, you could not make a hexagon work for the lightning explosions.
Yeah, if you had two melee, a black mage, and a red mage, that would work. Like that, you can't all have your uptime there. Somebody's got to buff.
Indeed.
But luckily, Pentagon did work. You could with 5 boss, so red mages could keep their uptime, and black mages didn't have to. But yeah, we just got lucky in our comp, I think, for that one.
Yeah, and that's actually part of why I really want to make sure, like, next year that we do have at least one physical range, so we don't have to deal with things like that.
I mean, we did have one physical range last.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just wants to make sure that trend continues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Having 2 melee and 2 casters.
Yeah, because...
Well, me personally, I don't care. I'm on summoner. I could be hanging out in the back 4. But yeah, black mage not so much.
Yeah. But this is definitely my favorite fight of the tier. flashy, but it also it feels compact, if that makes sense. Everything is nice and concise. There's not a whole lot of tick issues that I had to experience. And yeah.
You had a really good experience in the fight. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
It is
And
my second favorite fight of the entire series.
second favorite? Wait, time out.
Refulgence is number 1
Oh, you mean like the whole 12 fights? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
of the whole series.
Okay. Yeah. Apparently, I
Great
can't
series.
hear. Yeah. All right. Can.
I love this fight for a couple of different reasons. Firstly, gonna call this out. This is the fight where, after a bit of a tumultuous 3 fights, our static was cemented, complete. We fit and worked together so well.
No more pug swaps.
No
every
more
single
pug
week.
swaps. We got Kale, who just impressed us so damn much and made this fight just a blast to actually play with a static. It was great. A couple of notes that I have on the fight itself. I know I knocked 6 for this, and trust me, this is going to lead to a bit of my own kind of fan theory here. But it did introduce you to the mechanics, like lightning, fire, and how that's going to change in light and stuff like that, and then just throws it all at you at once, kind of like Ifruta does. But I view this one, it's more of like a combo, especially with cycles. And I think that fits with the theme of the fight overall, that we're fighting basically a Twisted Gunbreaker, a Twisted Thancred, that introduces Ranjit's Beast Mastery into it, if we want to call it a Beast Mastery.
Basically,
Close
it is.
enough. It might as well be. Yeah.
I think thematically speaking, this fight is the most cohesive we've had so far. It's damn good. And I want to call out Thancred's voice actor, Peter Bromell, hams it up so much.
Yeah, fun.
The you're not going anywhere.
I
Even
claim you.
yeah, even the hoe part where we were just like, did you just call me a whore? Like he
He says fall.
He says fall
Yep.
there? I thought he
Yes,
says
yeah,
hoe.
No, he says fall.
No, he
Like,
says fall,
oh!
dude. He just,
Oh,
he's
he
like,
says fall.
Yeah, he says fall. We just
The way he
since-
announces
He just draws it out so much and curves
So much.
the L's that it does not come out sounding
It's like when they
fall.
were recording, they're like, okay, in this instance, you're a villain, and we need you to say this like you're a villain. And he just owns it. The fight just came together so well. The mechanics were so much fun. Faint,
show me your strength.
yeah, Faint remained useful, which will go into the next fight too. Melee-wise, there was a chance at a complete uptime with blue uptime strat. There's really nothing to complain about with this fight. It rewarded arm's length timing as well. We can call that out here too. And it also, with that, it rewarded correct arm's length. Like, you could do arm's length on the first fire, but if you held on to it for a couple more fires, you could get at least 1 or 2 more GCDs than if you just accepted the knockback.
Yeah, not to mention the extreme greed that was taught during this fight. I'm looking at
Yes.
Lightning Face right now.
Elusive
Before-
jumping or spine shatter jumping back before the AoE even goes off. Ooh, felt so good.
Yeah.
I will neither confirm nor deny any of what was taught.
It felt good to execute on a lot of stuff.
It also provided me with much entertainment when the execution was failed. I'm just going to put that out there right now, but yeah. Because there was much muttering and grumbling and fussing because
It's
you
like,
either
"Ah,
had a
damn it,
bold
I got
stack or
damage
damage down. Yeah.
Damn it, did it too early. It was so good.
Also, this is only like tangentially related, but when the normal mode first dropped this fight, I was just screaming to myself, I've been waiting like 4 years to do this, thank you, Thancred.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, we've really wanted to pair up the main characters and Scions and stuff like that and to be able to do it even in our very warped imagination, because let's be fair here, the Warrior of Light has some issues.
Actually, this was Reen. This is like all Reen.
I know, but you get the point. Like
Yeah.
most of this entire raid tier was our imagination having a few issues.
It's true.
So
I mean, considering
Yeah.
how many tank bustered Warrior of Light has taken, it's no surprise that they have a little bit of brain damage. But they didn't need to be so horny about it.
Looking at Cloud of Darkness.
Hey. Cloud of Darkness is nice.
Also a nice callback to a previous iteration of Cloud of Darkness 2. I should have called that out during the
I
night.
kind of liked this version better than the last version. I think I'll,
Yeah, I like it better than the World of Darkness one.
We don't talk about that one.
I do want to make special mention now that Bond did bring up the normal mode. Going through the normal mode and learning what each of the mechanics, like this was actually one of the fights where going into the normal mode, you could see what the mechanics in Savage were going to do.
Oh yeah, you
could
had
break
some
it down.
serious premonitions going on in
Yeah.
normal.
It was so much fun. My first time in through the normal mode fight, like discerning what everything did, and going, I wonder what they were going to do in Savage for this. The answer was everything. They're doing all of it. You learned
Just
the
do it
Savage
all of
fight.
it.
Yeah, you learned the Savage fight in normal mode. I think that's great. They need more of that.
Indeed. Speaking of more of that, Eternity. So
Eternity.
okay, so we're gonna grade this 2 times because it has 2.
Okay, I was like,
bosses.
we're going to do part 1, part 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's stuff, and
Okay.
and the 2 phases are completely different.
Yeah, so
So.
just dropping it here for now. Dropping it here for now. Jesus. Okay. So, first phase, as a ninja, it was okay. Learning it was actually pretty fun, but afterwards it was really just boring. Because
Yeah.
as a melee, at least as a melee anyway, you don't have to worry about anything. Like you're just existing. Really, you're just there, DPSing the boss, and that's it.
After all the
He's
crap
right.
Melee got, though, throughout this entire raid tier, you guys kind of deserve just some sit on her butt and smack her.
It
Kind
felt
of,
good to have everyone else
yes,
move for a
time.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt good, but at the same time, it was boring because melee
They've been
brain here.
training you
Yeah, melee brain
all
here.
year. Yeah.
Like we have to move, we have to do this, we have to lose uptime, we have to lose positionals because bullshit, and we're just here existing as a melee. We're just chilling.
You got us all used to being like bad and having to greed just to keep our uptime, and now you're just gonna let us sit here and
Yeah,
do
no.
nothing? Okay, when's the next shoe gonna drop? What are you gonna do to us? Huh?
Yeah,
Yes.
it got a little boring.
So would you say that in this spot you're joined in one spot, never to be parted, unbound by past or future in this single perfect moment?
I hate you.
At long last, we are reunited.
Oh,
we
stop
shall
it! Stop
never
it! Stop
part.
it! Oh!
For the Shiva PTSD.
Okay, okay. We're gonna go into my Twitch real quick. Do I have the PTSD clip? I need that. I need that clip. Where the fuck are my clips here?
Well, this is the one where as soon as it happened, we wiped.
The poll definitely went downhill very, very quickly after Kale decided to make
No,
his
that's
comment.
not it.
Yes.
That's not it. Clips. Okay. Where is it? It has to be here.
I know it was clipped at one point.
It was. One moment. Let me see.
I'm looking for it. That went downhill so fast. Curse callouts. Carl Y. Greed. Let's get it. Hades fun. No, this is no. Where is it? Did I
Is
not clip it?
that
It
went
was
downhill
clipped.
so fast?
I put it in stream clips.
You put it?
I just posted it in stream clips.
Okay.
Yeah. I was about to do the same thing.
All right. So
At
this
long
shit.
last, we are reunited.
Do you need a moment alone?
We shall never be parted.
Oh my god.
That's what she said, right?
Oh boy. I think my eye just involuntarily twitched there. Not again.
B2 or C?
Oh dear.
And there goes Switch chat. Oh yeah, this doesn't mean he had Shen.
Oh,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
God,
no.
It all went wrong.
I'm sorry, I think I
Everything.
killed the raid.
Was it melee C?
I don't know how
It was out. It was no self out.
There was no self out.
Okay.
I just went on a freaking Shiva trip. Fuck me. So, as you can clearly see, I have something to give me callouts to help with that. And I went on a fucking Shiva trip so hard that I didn't even see what the fuck was happening. I didn't see the tethers, and I didn't even look at the screen for the callout. I was just gone.
He was having some serious Shiva flashbacks right there. A little PTSD.
Thank you, Kale.
I'd consume you.
The best part is like that clip didn't even have the my love that I said at the beginning of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I did the whole
He
Shiva
did the
voice
whole
line.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
It
issue is like
started-
I had to cut that out of that clip in order to catch the death.
Yeah.
Sacrifices have to be made sometimes.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah,
Kale.
this all started because during Titan phase and bombs, Kale tank proceeds to, well, claim North all the time, and he doesn't like giving up his love. Higher thing started from.
North, my beloved.
Yep. And the deadpan owls.
Those were the best
Ow.
ones. I like the owls during the tank busters.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
I think the owl exclamation points were probably some of my favorite. Why
Man,
is it
that's-
named Tan? Why?
This wait, where? Which one?
Oh, is that the one? I think it's the.
Oh, okay. That
fantasy
no, that's
one
that's from your
where I get murdered.
yeah. That's from you playing. Which FF was it? 4? 1?
I think that one's one.
Is it 1? Yeah.
This is one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Okay.
He's just there chilling, and then
Wasn't this like the first or second fight in the entire game?
it's not even a boss fight. Oh, that
And you
guy's
didn't
dead.
have no Phoenix downs,
Man, why you
nothing.
die?
Pan was just dead.
Yep.
You had to restart your game.
Very
Yep.
emblematic of the real life
I'm over-
experience.
I was even like, well, that guy's dead. Man, why'd you die?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Okay. So
So yeah, it's a melee DPS. You know, you're just there existing. It's cool, whatever. It's fun. It's still fun. As a tank, it is more interesting. Is oh my god, that fucking tank buster. Oh, yeah. So it is a little bit more interesting as a tank. Main tank, I guess. Since I did main tank, it is. Well, I actually did both because bugs. As a main tank, it is a little bit more, boring, I guess, because you always have the aggro. Even when you're doing the tank swap thing to avoid dying to the tank busters, you still have the aggro. You're still main tank. It doesn't matter. As an off tank, it is a little bit more engaging when it comes to the tank buster part. You gotta make sure that you bulk. Make sure that your main tank doesn't die. You gotta make sure you
You
Can't
gotta make sure
imagine
that you have
why.
tank stance on.
Yeah, for the
the
opener.
fact that
yeah.
it was a double tank buster was also interesting. It's the main tank is getting smacked twice. It's the first and second aggro that are both getting smacked twice.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it interesting. And I point that out there because
Teeth.
it's the second aggro. It's not targeted at the tank.
Teeth.
I'm going to
Oh,
leave you guys to continue your tier
take
because
it
I'm
easy,
very
bud.
tired.
Alrighty.
Nice night.
Fun.
Have a night, bye.
Bye.
But yeah, it's a tank. I mean, yeah, both off tank and main tank. It's a little bit more engaging than when you're just a melee and just there hitting the boss. Hey, props for 100% uptime fight. I like that. So yeah, the first part is it's between these two because I played both melee and tank, so it's somewhere in between these two. But I'm just gonna put it here.
I would put it in a. Honestly, my biggest issue with Phase 1 is Lion Rampant.
Oh yeah, Lion's Rampant. I didn't. Well, me particularly, I didn't really have that much of a hard time with it, but other people did.
It's not that I had a hard time with it. My issue with it is one person makes a mistake and it's like Light Rampant.
You're
and the
back
whole
to
day
that
wipes.
one person keeps everybody dies, unless you just happen to get really lucky, and there's a healer left alive to LB3 if it's up. Because one time it wasn't quite up when I managed to use it. That was a full. And don't do it in the fire. But yeah, it's one of those unforgiving. One person screws up, everybody usually dies mechanics, and I don't really like those at all, particularly in pugs.
Yeah, that's sad.
You know, it's weird. I would almost this fight up into 3 phases instead of 2.
Why 3?
Because the beginning of phase 1 until you get past Shiva is super. You're kind of just hanging out and moving around a little bit, you know? But it's like, I mean, I can't speak from an uptime perspective, but I liked Shiva phase, like with the icicle and the sliding and stuff like that. I thought it was fun, but then again, I also tend to just kind of enjoy a fight and not try to maximize uptime as a healer. But but after you get through Shiva, you get into Titan. That's when the first phase starts picking up, at least, because you have more to do. You have boss moving around, statues, lions coming out. You just have more to do after Titan hits. I really liked Titan, by the way. That was one of my favorite mechanics of phase 1. But you know, so it's almost like it's 3 phases, like up to Shiva, and then the rest of phase 1, phase 2. You know, the second half of the fight. So
yeah, where would you put it? Like A or B or whatever?
I'm pretty happy with where it's sitting. If the entirety of it same pace as Titan and on Beyond, I would probably rank it an S. But because it's very slow starting rate, I have to kind of leave it at A. It doesn't grab you and pull you in like Shiva and Titan did as soon as the fight starts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm good leaving phase 1 at A.
Okay. What about you, Kel?
Alright, so for me personally, like, because I like making things like symmetrical and like whatnot. And so, like, in my personal tier list, which I had posted in Static before, I actually had I had Eternity in A, and that was actually accounting for both phases, because honestly I think both phases are A, but for different reasons.
Okay.
Shiva phase, amazing. Titan phase, very satisfying to do. Statue phase, aside from like some server tick memes, is actually a lot of fun, I think. The only reason that phase 1 cannot get past A rank is because of lions.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It didn't have the rest of the rest of the pull that like Shiva did to get past Lights Rampant.
Because
and the fact
lions,
that it was at the very end of phase 1 made it the worst.
Yup. That you have a light rampant tier mechanic at the end of a fight is what makes it A rank instead of S
Yeah,
rank.
it's what, like 6 minutes into the fight?
6
Something
minutes,
like
yeah.
that?
Yep.
Yeah. And the fact that you can, and usually do, even now when people have it on farm, you can still die to it. Because the lions are touchy on placement, it's back to orbs all over again. You know, you can have people standing in the right spot for big lions, literally right up their butts, and they would prefer to just blow it across the entire arena and not turn around like they're supposed to. You know, so again, I think interesting concept, but poor execution. And the fact that one person dead usually means a wipe is also gross at 6 minutes in.
I agree with
I
that.
completely agree. I completely agree that that's what I got back from being Esther.
Yeah, so, 10.
Me. I'm basically the same camp as you, Zahhak, as a melee. I do really, really appreciate the 100% uptime that they've poured into this fight. Really in both phases, except for one part. I guess a couple parts of the second one. But they did strictly stick to, for at least for this part, to 100% melee uptime. You can do all the mechanics while hitting the boss. And that felt pretty good. But admittedly, sometimes it just came to where I'm just like, I'm just not going to move. Good luck, everybody else. And it was generally fine. That's not a knock against it, I don't think, because we have to move all the time. It's about time that we got our spot in the limelight of not moving.
Yeah.
I will agree. The reason why Light's Rampant was the Light Rampant was so, I'm not going to say well received, but it almost acclaimed, really, and notorious at the same time. It's because it was right at the beginning. Like, you could wipe to it, and you're back in 2 minutes. This fight, you're back in 8? 7?
6.
6? Yeah. Like, it's so long, and I really do appreciate that they tried to put in a Light's Rampant mechanic for Lions. But timing is everything with it, and I think with that they kind of missed the mark a little bit. So, Titan, I'm jumping around all over the place with this fight. Shiva's fun, if not a little, just slide. Titan was super fun to execute correctly. Everyone moving almost at one. The bombs going off in tandem. It just felt good to pull off. Statues, I think, is the next big one. It's kind of cool. I actually like that tethered mechanic. And you had to know which statue you're tethered to and what your order was. I found very fun, if not a little chaotic, especially when one person didn't remember where they were at.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, oh my god, okay, back to the beginning. Who knows if we'll get past Shiva to try to prog this again. Yeah, part 1 is okay. I think part 2 is really the star of the show, so I think A is a good spot for this.
Cool. Okay, so for the first fight, the first part, we all agree it's pretty much where it should be. Alright, moving on to the second phase. The actual, in my opinion, the actual fun part of the fight.
Yes.
So we have the Oracle of Darkness. Or Dankness, I guess, if you want to go that route.
I like Dankness.
So her as a ninja, it was actually way more fun than it probably should have. The mechanics that the relativities, those were very satisfying to do. Like, as a whole, it doesn't matter if you're a DPS or a tank or a healer or whatever. Those relativities were extremely satisfying to pull off, all of them. The APOCs. Now, those could get you in trouble if you... Well, obviously, if you didn't know what the hell you're doing or where you're supposed to go, you're gonna be in trouble. Even then, if you still know where to go, you can probably get confused and fuck it up.
Triple.
Yeah, we'll get to that, don't worry. Double A Pog. As a melee, you stand like close to the boss, and well, not that close, but because the tanks have to go and bait far, and then the other tank has to go bait close. That part is probably the easiest part of the fight. You quite literally just go somewhere in between max melee and close to the boss, and you're good. That's all you gotta do, really. And if we go into triple APOC, the one thing that you really have to pay attention to, again, it doesn't matter if you're a tank, a melee, healer, it doesn't matter what you are. You just pay attention to that middle ruined light thing that comes out. That'll tell you what the safe spot is and where you need to go back left or back right to for the knockback afterwards. But people apparently don't follow that, and they wipe, especially in freaking Party Finder. That's the healer limit break mechanic right there.
That's the one.
Every time, every single time.
Provided your healer actually knows. But that's key there.
Yeah, that healer LB3 save us. That's the mechanic. Basic relativity though. Why is basic so hard?
Because basically she wants to kill you.
Well, okay, she's a basic then. How about that? No, but yeah, basic. Why is it so complicated? I'm just gonna leave it at that. I can't really explain it. It's just a lot of things.
I liked our uptime basic strat.
I didn't get to enjoy that, but yeah.
I did.
Zahhak, would you would you have been happy if your static let you do uptime basic?
Yeah. But that didn't happen. Sad. But, oh well. It was still a really good fight. Oh my god, the music in this fight though. If we're gonna go by music alone, this is the best boss thing in the entire series.
I'm so happy you called it out. I was just like, please, someone mention the music. I don't want to be the only one.
I like to Return to Oblivion more, personally.
Which one was that? The Shiva one?
Shiva Phase 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that one's fun though.
That one's good because it'll. Speaking of which, it also picks up, like the fight picks up. It gets faster after the ads and also the music, so it really matches really well in that fight. But it also matches really well in this one. So yeah, those are my thoughts. If we're grading only the second part of the fight, the prog was extremely fun, extremely satisfying. Those relativities, especially Advance, holy shit, Advance is so good. Also, there's no uptime there. You just do the mechanic. Don't worry about the boss. That's cool.
It's literally a mechanic check, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. The healer check at the end also, that was, you have to plan out your mitigations, and guess what is useless again?
Thanks.
Faint.
Yes.
Faint did have some use.
Oh, it did if the tanks didn't invuln the...
Oh, no.
was it Dark Halo?
Faint actually has, it does do mitigation for Shell Crasher and Spirit Taker.
Oh, that's it. So it's...
Yeah, but those didn't really hurt that much.
Yeah, but that's a...
They did early prog, but once the eye level and the echo was there, no.
Yeah, but it was still useful. Like, I guess I'm also speaking from, like, my first static, though. Because this was also at a point where I was also doing 2 statics. And we had to do feints. Well, we didn't have to, but, like, it helped give the healers an extra GCD.
Okay.
Which...
Considering how tight the checks are on final fights, that was helpful.
Yeah. It was literally basically like Feint giving the healers an extra GCD was by technicality the thing that let me clear the fight the first time, because we basically had only the one GCD left before Enrage killed us all on my first clear.
Mhm.
So Feint was actually a godsend.
Cool. But
Good to know.
I would, second phase would be here, but there's no actual icon for second phase. But yeah. Well, it wouldn't really be here. It would be because I still think these two fights are way better than.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Just
agree.
put the ones closer to the letter as being better. Just basically.
How do I add another? Because I just can't. I can't leave this here. It doesn't. Second part doesn't belong here. It belongs.
I don't know. Can you like copy it or something?
I don't know.
That's not going to do anything.
Whoops.
Congrats.
Go back.
No, I
I'll
meant like,
just-
can you right click on the deal and like copy it or anything? Right click on a picture and make it.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
What is this?
Uh,
Oh.
You can add a row.
That's not going to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, like that. Okay.
I thought you were trying to add another.
And guess what just went up? The ranking.
Agree.
Make it like purple or something.
Purple? This one?
Yeah, why
I
not?
think purple works.
Yeah, make it like a bright purple or something.
How's that look?
That was good.
I'm good. I like blue.
The ranking just went up. Okay. Towards the end of the fight because I couldn't make up my mind.
Yeah,
So-
I really liked second phase. It's definitely my favorite. There was plenty of uptime. There was plenty of in-game, like with the relativities, particularly when we were doing melee uptime relativity and not pug basic relativity. But I quite enjoyed that. Intermediate was a heck of a lot of fun. I really liked intermediate.
Oh, intermediate was so.
But and I mean, advanced was very satisfying to pull off, but also the easiest of the three of them, which made no sense. But especially when you didn't have to worry about the boss.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed the healer check at the end. The fact that, the healers, unless they were rotating exactly, really weren't getting any uptime during that. There was just too much damage coming out in a lot of groups, especially early prog, before Echo was out. Because I did actually go back and turn Echo with a few groups after I cleared it. I'm kind of happy to have the Echo. So my only regret about this fight is not finishing it with our static, because we had just had so much real life issues this tier that we were just done by that point. So take a break or break up the static, and we all just definitely would rather take a break. But finishing it with the static I'm used to, and with friends still helping out Genesis static for that month was still pretty satisfying, but just wasn't quite the same. But I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the fight. It was very satisfying finish. But I think I'll agree with Zahhak. It didn't quite have the same final impact that, particularly in my opinion, Titan did. Titan is still my favorite fight of the entire tier. So I did really enjoy it though. 12 was really.
Yeah, that's. 12 was fun. It was fun. But it didn't beat Shiva or Titan.
Not even close.
No.
I mean, it still beat most of the other fights, but it definitely.
Mhm.
Titan.
So, do we want to, rank things within their tiers?
Like, what do you mean?
As
Well, I
in,
mean, they're-
make the one closest to the letters the one that's like quote unquote
Oh yeah,
better than the
we
other.
can do like the one closest, the best one of that one, like the A plus, B plus, or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, for me, SS and S are fine. I'm not sure about you guys. Obviously, S is.
Again, since I hadn't done Titan, I'm
Mm-hmm.
biased to saying Shiva's better than Titan.
Okay.
But
So, your vote's Shiva.
I am admittedly biased on that
What
aspect.
about you, Tan? Shiva or Titan?
Well, I progged Shiva and just did Titan. So I gotta give it to Shiva.
What
gotta.
about you, Zahhak?
It's a tough one for me.
Yeah.
It's a really,
For me,
really
Titan
tough.
just edges it out, but I'm actually pretty happy with either one of them.
Wait, did we all give our thoughts on the second part of 12?
Yes.
I
at
didn't
least-
give mine.
Tan didn't? Oh, I'm sorry, Tan.
Oh, that's fine.
We skipped you.
It's all
And
good.
That wasn't on purpose.
I'm not offended. It's fine.
No, go ahead.
As far as the second part of the fight goes, I loved it. I really did. The music took the mechanics that I already enjoyed and just cranked them up to 11. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate E8's music, especially when the second part of the fight after the ads, the mechanics happen faster, and so the tempo of the music is faster and almost has like a heavier weight. But I don't know, that organ in part 2, Soka just went ham. He's like, we need drums and we need organ and bass. Boom, that's all we need. But mechanically speaking, I actually liked that basic was hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely was the most difficult. Intermediate was the most fun. Especially once it clicked. Once you saw the timers and how everything worked out from right to left. It was so much fun to actually master it. And then advanced, well designed. Wish we could hit the boss, but well designed.
Advance was kind of like a victory.
Yeah, it was like
It's
you
like,
mastered.
Okay, we've made it through all these suckers. Now we need to finish this fight. Kind of.
Yeah, it absolutely was you made it through the hardest parts of the fight. So
Yeah, and then
we're
you
gonna
got
make this
AAA
super
Puck.
easy on you. Yeah, and then AAA Puck. They're like, oh, just kidding. Threw a wrench in it. I liked it as a melee though, because we adjusted to Kale's suggestion to swap the healers and the melee DPS. Who's taking laser first? It just felt really good that we weren't doing a party finder strat. That when we brought party finder people in because we had so many scheduling issues, they would be like, "Wow, this strategy is actually really good. Why aren't we doing this?"
Into Pugs and propagate into Party Finder, but it never quite made it.
It never quite made it. And I'm with you, Jen. Because I cleared E8S with Pugs. I think it was just Keith and Zahhak that were with me for my first clear.
I think so.
For 12, yeah.
Yeah, but we were able to go back into E8 and bring the rest of the people through. We got Aletha's clear through that. We got Carl's clear through that. So there was a bit of a sense of satisfaction. With this one, it's just kind of missing it. We've all gotten our clears, whether it be through other groups or through Pugs. And so clearing it with your friends means something.
Mm-hmm.
And so that got the wind got taken out of the sails for that a little bit. So E8S remains the pinnacle of my raid clears, I would say, but but E12 is still, particularly part 2, still S tier.
Indeed. So
Yeah. My favorite part of 2, other than the heal check, was actually AAA Puck.
AAA Puck's fun.
I think it became my favorite when I was the person surviving it in every group I was in. So you had to do that LP3, but it was, I guess you felt really useful, like, hey, I can do more than,
It's like
just
the
heal. I
run
can
could
actually save
literally
the party
depend
and
on
we can
you.
Clear, yeah.
Like the clear could literally fall on the healer that survives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is true of other fights, but in this one, with how close to the end you are, you could literally make up for the lost DPS earlier in the fight.
And it's also, it didn't happen just once. Right? Healer LB on Lions Rampant and Healer LB on AAA Pac could literally clear your fights.
Yeah, they literally made it super clearable.
And I'm both happy and disappointed that that's actually almost a requirement in a lot of groups. But at least I'd rather friends get their clears than have to do it without technicalities. But whatever. My first clear on 12 was literally the dots killing her after the cast went off, but before the damage propagated.
Lucky.
So yeah.
Very lucky.
Yeah. Like the cast was done, but the damage hadn't hit yet, and she died. So that was our first clear on that. Epic, but talk about a nail biter.
And yeah, so going back into what you guys said earlier, like rating the fights like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about the very top, from going top to bottom, like this, it is super hard for me to choose because I really enjoyed both.
I say we just leave them tied because Kale and Tan really didn't have the full experience, so they're only able to half vote on this.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both super enjoyed Titan, so I say we just leave it in the middle and let it be tied.
Yep. This one, well, it's there on its own. Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we gotta move it back over here because the first phase.
That's fine.
So, what do we have here? Inundation, Fulmination. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Animorphous
actually
is
fine
at the top.
leaving both of the Gaias in S. Just let them both be their own little tier and be done with it.
I'd be fine with that, honestly.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, that way you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
you know what? I'll add the boss arena being really cool in part 1 to bring it up to an S. Because it was.
so we're
The
going.
boss space is so cool.
Yeah. So going through these, I would put this one
This
over
is-
here.
This one's rough for me.
Put that
This is
one-
very rough.
Yeah.
I really, really liked Levy.
Having it
But-
like that is fine for me.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think phase 1 best here though.
Like this is literally the order that it will go in for me.
For you,
Yeah.
do you think?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yep.
I can live with that. Wait, what's the third one there? Is that Ramu?
That was Rama.
Yes.
Ramo, yeah.
Ramu, okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm happy with it.
Yeah. So on this one we have Descent, Voidwalker. We have actual Eden, and Cloud of Darkness.
I like Voidwalker a lot.
I-
That's such a good fight.
Honestly, this right here, I cannot complain how this actually turned out. Because between these three fights, if I had to do any of them over and over and over, I would always pick Voidwalker. But that's just me.
I've again not done 1 and 2, so I don't really have much say.
Well, basically, it is a 100% uptime fight that if the means skips or disband.
I was true with that
Is
one.
that,
So
are you
skip
talking?
sword disband? Yeah.
Isn't that like regarding
It's
Zervin
Zervin.
Extreme.
Mhm.
Yeah, Servant.
Yeah, you know what that means, right?
Yeah.
So basically, this fight is skip cycles or disband. Because before it became irrelevant, like you could actually, if your DPS was high enough, you could actually skip the cycles at the end of the fight.
You got the first one. You usually killed it somewhere right at the first one if your DPS was high enough. But if you didn't skip the second one, yeah, no.
Also, one thing I don't think we mentioned was that Cycles of Fate drew from E2, I know.
Yeah, it absolutely did.
Yeah, it did.
Mhm.
So,
They just threw them at you. So
and I
much
did
faster.
like that callback even if I never actually got to experience E2, which is why Anamorphosis is also just like so highly rated in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I'm good with where B's sitting. I could argue swapping the second pair, but to me, they're pretty much even. So for me, I'd never progged the first, so it always maybe a little bit of the second one, but my prog on 2 was literally like, I don't know, pulls and it died. So it's not like it was really, because I came in late and hadn't done anything. The group was already on the end. I think y'all were all Blackbird prog, I think, when I joined on Levy. So I just needed to learn the 2 and get through them and get into 3. Was what was my job when I joined. So I liked 1 and 2, but I kind of liked 9 better, but that's just a personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm okay with where those are sitting.
I'd say for introductory fights, like both 1 and 9 that we have there, 1 is the better introductory fight to like not a tier, but to just savage raiders in general.
Yeah,
the mechanics are super simple, but they're more complicated than an extreme fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I think as far as introductory raids go, I gotta say that order's just fine
It was a very solid
between the 2.
first fight.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Indeed, indeed. And then we have this thing where we don't talk about this. Okay, this is going to be...
I liked it.
I agree with you, Kale. I enjoy 6, but I'm not gonna fuss if people didn't. So
I know.
No, I mean, you can give your reasons. It is, but we don't talk about that.
I do enjoy your reasons. I do respect them.
Yeah, like you have an
No,
opinion.
yeah,
I
as
liked it
mentioned-
because I wasn't melee.
Yeah, as mentioned, most of my dislike of that fight was just how much frustration it caused my friends. So the fight itself, I loved, but it was just frustrating on raid nights when you're having to deal with people getting
not having
frustrated
fun
and beating themselves up, and being pissed at themselves because they couldn't do something correct the 15th time in a row, even though they know exactly what they're supposed to do. The boss was just like, no, forget it. So yeah.
And then the final... Not even gonna bother. What the f*** is that?
I
think
agree with the
Iconoclasm is
rating.
more of a meme. Yeah.
I enjoyed Iconoclasm more than Litany.
Same. Yeah, Kale and I are kind of weird. We like the more technical fights that drive our friends up a wall, basically. So,
I mean, as much
Like,
as I meme E7, like it's still fun.
mhm.
It's just not super interesting, which is why I'm okay with it being a D. But I liked it better than Litany.
Yeah.
It's funny, even Litany. All of these fights were enjoyable. They got annoying, and then they got frustrating, and then they got okay. But I didn't hate any of them. Like there wasn't any of them in there for me at least that was like, okay, just never give me anything like this ever again and I'll be happy. There were always parts of it I at least really enjoyed and ways to prove it. But I don't think any of them fights.
Yeah, there's nothing that if let's just say a few weeks down the line we're like, hey, do we want to go into E7 or do we want to go into E10? Just go in, do it. I'm not gonna sit there and say no. I'll still go because it's fun. Like I'll still do the fights.
Like I'd love to take you and Kale back into 1 through 4 and flick off the echo and show you what happens, But it's not something I'd want to like pug.
Right. So I'm definitely not saying 7 and 10 are garbage because they're not. They're still fun fights.
Well,
but as far as the tier goes, they are definitely
low on the list.
Holy
Yeah,
shit. Okay.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to edit this one.
At some points. It's still gonna be a long one. Alright, so this is it for this video. This is the what did we end up calling ourselves?
What was it? Warrior of Light DerpFest?
There you go. Warrior Light DerpFest.
Yeah, I think that's what we decided on.
DerpCast. Oh wait, we can't. Right.
Somebody
has it. Yeah, but somebody has it. Sadly. Okay.
Yeah, but whatever. They don't do DerpCast.
They can't sue. Fuck it.
So I don't care.
You know what? We're DerpCast. So yeah, that's it for us. The Warriors of Light or Darkness. I'm not gonna judge. Whatever you like.
We're light next
I
expansion.
think we're back to light next time.
I think we're back to light.
So yeah, we're versatile.
Okay.
The Warrior of Balance.
The Warrior of Balance.
Just the warrior at this point.
We're wobs. This is what we are now.
Wobs.
A wobbly wob. Okay. That's it for us. Signing out. Warriors of Light or Darkness, DerpCast thing. Bye.
Night, guys.